And we're back with another episode. We do not
Well,
actually
hello.
we don't actually have much topics today because I forgot to watch Predator, as the title says. Because I say forgot. I've been ill.
It's no excuse, really. It's,
I don't know. I passed out yesterday. That was fun.
well, I find, yeah, I don't mind doing it.
Oh no! I mean, I was awake. I was coughing. The next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, that's
That was
good
that was concerning.
from what I hear.
That was not very helpful. Though. It made me have a bit of a panic. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
fun. But yeah, well, we've got Doomsday Leaks apparently. All what was it you said about Doomsday Leaks before, Jax? That you wanted to talk about
uh,
the pitch stage to an
I
Age of Wonders character that I made from Age of Wonders 4, by the way, for anyone watching the VOD. We are
uh, I mean, yes, there is a trailer that will be coming out with the new uh Avatar movie.
yes, and as I've said, just like the real Avatar series, with the Last Airbender, everything's okay until the goddamn Fire Nation get involved. Always the Fire Nation that screw everything up. Wonderful Navi just
It is so true.
getting along, been
But
forming bonds, and then the Fire Navi show up and screw it over for everyone. Fucking Fire Navi.
but yes, apparently there have been people that have seen it already. Um, and leaks are going around, and so
Oh
it'll
my
be
god,
interesting to
the leaks have
see the
become
trailer when we
sentient.
see it. They are. Um, what is interesting is apparently there is multiple versions of it,
Oh,
which kind of makes sense. So they don't usually do quite a few, um, and then you settle on one. But the interesting one is the fact that multiple dudes are seen in the trailer. So it kind of feels like maybe they have just partially used a lot of the original script that they had for the Avengers film, um,
oh yeah,
and have just
the count the
superimposed Doom.
the thingy of Doom has replaced the Parliament
Hmm.
of Doom has replaced the Council of Kangs,
Yes,
possibly.
but it would be interesting as well is, as a couple of people have mentioned, is one thing we have seen in previous films, and this is going to be like wrapping up of the multiverse saga. Well, part of what multiverse saga has given us is dream walking.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on what they meant by multiple dooms, it is also possible that we might. The reason there's incursions going on is because one doom in particular, trying to protect their own Earth, is creating um, these collisions on purpose by dreamwalking into different dooms on different Earths.
Oh,
And one in particular end up being a Tony Stark.
we know that Strange has caused an incursion. Remember?
Yeah, that's it. So this is what I'm thinking. There is there's going to be multiple people doing this stuff because it seems to be this dream walking is going to be the biggest cause of it as well.
Wow. I just hope the rumor about Wanda being back is true because I would look that we and that the rumor is that we're getting her versus Famike, the Phoenix versus the Scarlet Witch. Like, oh.
Well, it would be interesting.
Because let's be honest, the fact we're getting Scott Marsden back as obviously a Cyclops. This is Patrick Stewart's last film. He
I
has
hear
said,
this.
yeah, he has said it's his last movie. That's a bit of a sad news. He's retiring
It
after
is.
this, but
He has said he's retiring from film. That does leave TV and stage
and
available.
theatre, he'll probably
Yeah,
never.
that's stage. Yeah, that's what I mean by stage.
No, you mean the theatre? I'm quoting him from a silly, I think a pantomime I watched him in years ago.
Yeah,
Also, a TV show I watched him years ago where he was playing, the pretentious person, calling it the
yeah, that would
theatre.
be extras. Yeah,
Yeah, him. Ironically, him and the one person I don't really like that much.
but yeah, So it's going to be interesting to see where all that stuff does go. We're not going to have long to find out whether or not
No,
the rumours are
I'm
true.
I'm just happy. Well, we know that Scott Marsden's in it. We know that Alan Cummings back, and we know that from Alan Cummings showing the box that has his costume in. The picture on the box is straight up is a picture of like his costume of him showing off his costume, basically being the actual Nightcrawler uniform from X-Men '97, basically. And it's like, are you just hinting at we're getting the the '97 era X-Men costumes because we're going to give you them all in their actual costumes on screen, which makes me really happy if we do, because I really want to see Scott Marsden in the blue outfit. That, and I will be happy if we get Halle Berry back and she's in Storm's actual outfit. Because
Yeah.
yeah, she's not the
Uh,
she wasn't. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Halle Berry as a Storm, but I I agree with a lot of people that is it Angela Bassett that plays the mother in Wakanda Forever, Wakanda in
yeah.
Black Panther, who plays T'Challa's mother. Like, is an amazing actress to play Storm. Like, she's the amazing voice actress for Storm, and she would be amazing as Storm. But I full well think that like all of those actors that were in the Fox's X-Men, in the Bryan Singer X-Men, need that shot at like playing the characters again to kind of get that little bit of redemption in the eyes of fans, in my opinion. Because I'm going to be honest, it'll be nice to see them all in, like, if they all get comic accurate costumes. We know we're getting Channing Tatum back, which means we're getting Gambit, and he's going to make a name for himself.
Well, the others. I mean, I, I don't. I never had a problem with Halle Berry as Storm. I quite liked it. I
I think
kind
it's
of
a lot
wish
of
she
people
kept
want.
the accent.
That's the thing that I think a lot of people have, it is the accent that they get mostly annoyed is that every time Storm kind of appears, she doesn't have the accent that they would think that Storm would have. Also, for some reason, people getting
Yeah,
annoyed at Storm having short hair and things lately, and I'm like, Storm has short hair in a lot of comics. Like, she kind of does. She has the habit of cutting her hair a lot.
yeah. I mean, the problem was at the time is a lot of people were expecting what they. I mean, more people were coming to that. I would argue were fans of the animated series than were
Oh, in the
people,
comics,
because
100%.
the animated series
We were
was
expecting them
great.
in.
But yeah, and I can completely understand that they went for a look. They decided,
Yeah, they went
uh, and it was more towards the sort of the darker
realism side
stories.
as well.
Yeah,
They went for more realistic look for them rather than them running around in. Let's be honest. I will admit. I'm going to say this now. At the time of those films' creation and everything, I will say, to be honest, at the time of those films' creations, I would probably go with the way they would have made those costumes at that time would have probably looked ridiculous, and I'm going to be honest, kind of looked like, if you know what I mean.
well, I mean, the
The
argument,
way they would
the
have
other
made
argument to
those
that would
costumes.
be is what we saw at exactly the same time with Spider-Man. At no point anyone has ever tried to do a hyper-realistic Spider-Man costume. They've just gone for comic book costume.
Yeah,
I get what you mean. Trying to do colours back then as well might have made it look too funky, especially in the dark areas that they were. You know, a lot of it was
yeah.
inside the Statue of Liberty or inside the building. So I kind of get it. Um,
They were more billing them in
but we're
those
in a
films
different
as
place
a. I'm
now.
going to be honest. They were more billing them in that film as a Spec Ops team. Let's be absolutely honest.
Yeah, but yeah, and also because of now the way that sort of special effects work, you can have a really dark room
Hmm.
and know it's a dark room and still have it well lit. Um, you know, it's kind of one of the biggest bugbears for a lot of these films that use dark places. They say just no lighting. You know, they won't know it's a dark room. There won't be enough immersion if we see something. So everything's black and you just see shadows, and it becomes pointless. So we don't need to see that anymore. We understand context.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and it has just been a long run thing of the best kind of idea of a costume is almost armored. If you're not someone like an Iron Man in metal armor, you're going to be someone like an X Man in leather armor. Um,
Oh yeah.
then no one wanted the spandex because it doesn't look as good.
No, but
And then all of a sudden you've got Captain America, um, and you're wait a minute, you don't might not need to go spandex, but actually the colours work, the schemes work, the look kind of works. And then you've got Deadpool, which was the next big jump in that. Let's move more towards completely comic, in my opinion.
mhm.
Um, so yeah,
What I was gonna say
there's
is that
also
I was gonna say is that yeah. Well, you just have it in. You had not Captain Marvel, Captain America. Okay. Then if you notice, as Marvel's stuff went on and 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 on, before we got Deadpool, because remember Deadpool wasn't owned by Marvel Studios at the time; it was still owned by Fox for ages, and
no, I'm just
he
talking
didn't.
about the general
But we kept
evolution
getting
of
as every Marvel
costume.
film came out, the costumes got more and more like the comics versions of them. If you notice when the Marvel films were coming out, like
Yeah.
we got Hulk started looking more like actual Hulk in the comics rather than big green giant that he looks like in the first film, and you know, and then we got Black Widow, and what was basically like kind of a Black Widow's costume, not the original like '80s costume, which we both know is ridiculously silly. Same with Hawkeye getting the more,
Yeah.
but I think it made sense for those two to have a more muted color tones and the more like they're more modern militarized costume, a little bit like military style costumes, because of the way they brought
Yeah.
those two in. Whereas they're both agents of Shield, they're going to probably have a uniform they wear rather than. Whereas Thor, he's wearing like his costume that basically looks like his costume in the comics when he shows up the second time. Same with Iron Man's suits start looking more and more like his costume suits, and Cap.
Well, here's the thing with Iron things like Iron Man and Thor and even Hulk. Um, those kind of costumes will hold completely separately, but Iron Man and Thor in particular, and someone like Juggernaut, for example, um, their costumes are their looks in many ways, um, and they are very much separate entities to themselves. I mean, Thor's is a magical armor that can retract itself. Um, Iron Man is a suit. Um, Juggernaut's a suit.
Oh yeah,
Um, but the thing is that they're never these skin tight things, which is what all the other people had. You're never going to have to worry about the light grew issue, and that is when you do it like that, it looks cheap. Um, it kind of works to an extent. Uh, it's the Power Ranger effect. Everyone goes, "I don't want to put on like you look like a Power Ranger in these sort of things." Well, yeah, but the reason Power Rangers look the way they do is because of how comic book characters looked in the comic books that the creators were reading,
oh yeah,
which was Pandemic Foods. Um, or in the case of Fantastic Four, a special polymer blend created by Mr. Fantastic. Um, like Chris Oates.
but right.
So yeah, you do have to
Yeah,
modernise.
you have to modernize it, but I'm about like Cap's costume was modernized in the right way, in the sense of it was made to look like
Yes.
a uh, to look like to look like kind of like a mix with a military uniform, but then still having that showmanship design on it and all that. And
Yes.
then,
They very much went. Here's the thing: a lot of the costumes we get now, which we would consider comic book accurate, are very much from around just before and just after the era of the Ultimates, where the actual comic book costumes were more relatable to um, real life costumes. I mean, that's where pretty much Captain America has technically never had a one piece; it's always a two piece with the belt, but it always looks like a one piece. Whereas once you got to Ultimates, you could definitely see these were blue combat trousers with a blue chest vested thing, shield helmet.
oh yeah, oh yeah, it's like we got to be fair. as a lot of people go, oh, why is the it's like one of my famous things I like to say is when people go, why is the MCU like not like 616 like the main comics? I'm like, because it's the Ultimate Universe. Pay attention to it.
Yes.
It is straight up. They just because the Ultimate Universe died, they instead because the Ultimate Universe was the Marvel Universe. It was meant to be a little bit darker, not realistic, but a little bit more grounded, closer to how the
It was
world.
meant to be more like actual reality. The idea
Yeah,
is what
our reality,
happened.
but
These
subject and
things
add magic
started
to
to
superheroes. That was the
appear.
idea behind it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
that's why because
And
like,
there is a clear reason why we know, by the way, there is a clear reason why we know that the universe we've been watching all this time
mhm.
is actually an offshoot of the Ultimate Universe and not the original Marvel OG universe continuity. And that's because of Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's not
so,
been
so,
he's not the son. He's not the son. He's the father in this universe. That's the thing. He's the
so in this universe, he is pure Nick, he's the official proper Nick Fury. In the Ultimate Universe, which preceded all of this, their Nick Fury was actually based on Hugh Jackman, on Jackson, uh, and then he was then cast for um, to play Nick Fury. The original Nick Fury from the original universe, weirdly enough, looks more like um, David Hasselhoff,
hmm
and David Hasselhoff did play Nick Fury in a film called Nick Fury: Agents of Shield.
but also in the other thing is in the 616, Nick Fury is now the same as he is in now is the same as he was in the Ultimate Universe. But that's only because Nick Fury in the new universe, in the 616 universe, is now Nick Fury's son, Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Fury, who just happens to look like Samuel L. Jackson, a young Samuel L. Jackson. But
Yeah.
that's because they knew that the Ultimate Nick Fury was really popular, and they knew that when they brought the MCU in, they kind of had to. They wanted to make some stuff in the comics match the MCU a bit because they were trying to
Yes.
show that the time. Because like people go, oh, why do they have to make everything? I'm like, because it's to show that things diverge in all these different universes, but eventually things start to start to get similar even across the universes. But in the main thing with we know it's Ultimate because of that, because he's Nick Fury Senior, not Nick Fury Junior, which is the main difference.
Mm.
Um, but the other thing is, it's also the way a lot of the origin stories and the heroes' origins in this have come about. They are the ultimate origin of those characters rather than the main 616 origin of the characters. A lot of the way,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same with, sadly, Fantastic Four Stick, which is a terrible film, mostly because the studio kept fucking making them reshoot shit and remake shit, and it's like three films in one. Three films in one. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, no, I mean it's not even that. It's three films that make a half a film.
yeah. Well, no, it's three films that make up
It,
less than a quarter of
it
of
is
a
so
4 act film.
bad.
Yeah, and it's like but the problem is like people go, oh, the origin of this makes some sense, and I'm sat there going, that's the ultimate version of the Fantastic Four's origin and Doom's origin in the Ultimate
Pretty
Universe.
much.
That's the Ultimate Doom and the Ultimate Fantastic Four. That's the one
Pretty
that
much.
would have fit in this
Yeah.
universe. That's the problem. That's the Fantastic Four that would fit in the MCU because that's the origin of them in the MCU. Well, it
And
would have been until we.
it's. I mean, I know we've talked about it before, and there is literally tons of stuff written up on how bad they fucked up on this film.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, we didn't have to start coming on to a subject we wanted to talk about later on. But the kind of Fantastic Four films were cursed. After that first came out, I remember that coming out, and I was so impressed. I mean, I was hyper impressed.
I'm
Um,
Stan Lee. I should be on the list. I created
and
them. That's the best.
I, yeah, well, I mean, I had already seen the original Fantastic Four film because you could buy it at conventions on bootleg tape and
It's
DVDs
okay.
for
Just
years.
remember the time Captain America
Um,
robbed a guy of his van.
I, I mean, I used to watch those films as well. I mean, like, the old school everything. But yeah, it's the what was I? Yeah, so the Fantastic Four film. And then when that first one came out, it was awesome. It was great. It was kind of everything you wanted to see.
The funny thing is I will say
In a
this:
weird.
what confused me with Fantastic Four, the first three with I forget a bloody name, Jessica Alba, and
Elba.
and
Yeah,
Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, and Jessica Alba as
yeah,
thingy. But what confuses me the
which
most
one?
about those films, right, is Fantastic Four movies. Doom's in a accurate
Yep.
costume. The Fantastic Four are in somewhat comic accurate costumes. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then Fox releases the X-Men movies, and I'm like, why are they not in a comic accurate costume when you did it with the other guys? like,
Well, I mean, there is actually kind of weird enough. There is a reason for this, um, uh, and that actually kind of comes down to who the Fantastic Four are. Um, they were, I mean, they were iconic. Um, yes, the X Men became the golden child of Marvel, and in particular,
Mhm.
Wolverine, um, with the most popular character for many, many decades being Spider Man. That had been their money spinner for a long time. But the Fantastic Four, that iconic blue four costumes and Doctor Doom, that literally just the look would sell. You knew what you were getting, and you always did with
Mhm.
that five combo. Um, and to actually, and the other thing to point out is that they were making a comic book film, and what they had seen work really well
Mhm.
is Spider-Man Big and Bright, and the Fantastic Four universe and the Spider-Man universe actually are a little bit more connected visually in many ways than the X-Men is because
Oh yeah, but
it's
I was going to.
both of them are very much outdoor characters. They're very much New York Sky characters. These are people that you would see fighting during the day in brightness. And so when they made these films, they could make them bright and colourful. With the X Men, we decided, like you say, the idea of them being clandestine, and because of everything else, that bright colour would never come through in those darker moments. Especially because it was in a physical set with physical lighting, so you couldn't pick up your best shit.
Oh yeah, well, I was going to say the main thing is it's just one of those funny things. But to talk about Fantastic Four movies, should we just talk about the one that we were going to talk about that I have that we both have that kind of thing of they came out this year. Three films came out this year. Is it July when they all came out?
Yes,
Yeah, July.
round
So
about then, yeah.
yeah, so beginning of July, Jurassic World Rebirth comes out. I will unabashedly admit I love that movie. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
I just love it so much that I have the D-Rex sat behind me on a shelf because I love that stupid thing. It looks stupid and I love it. And I only watch those
Uh-huh.
movies for dinosaurs. I don't give a shit about the plot anymore. I don't give a crap about the plot anymore in those films. But then I watched Superman, and as you know me, Jax, I don't like DC apart from I think about two characters. About literally two characters are the only people I like in DC.
Yeah.
And that is the Flash and um, Batman. That's about it. I don't read DC comics that much. I only really like the Batman mostly because I like to see mostly because I like the more Bat family oriented stories. It's not exactly him on his own. It's more him with like Robin or with Nightwing or with Batgirl and stuff in regards to it. But I watched Superman Legacy, and Superman is one of the most boring characters in the history of like superheroes to me. And I love
Yeah.
Superman Legacy. It's just brilliant to me.
Yeah.
I love
Good
it.
film. Great film.
It's a great film. And then I got to Fantastic Four, and I'm not disappointed. I enjoyed the film, but for the first time in I don't know how many years, I enjoyed a DC film more than a Marvel film. And I am forever, and as you know me, I am forever a Marvel person. Like legitimately,
Yeah.
Marvel. I read Marvel comics all the time. I have lots of comics like around me all the time. I have the Marvel Unlimited app on my phone deliberately so I can read any new comics come out, so I could read the Krakoa story without buying all the books because I couldn't track down all the books in my local shop. So I just kind of gave up and went, I'll just get the app. But like, and that's the problem. And I'm like, I love X-Men, I love Spider-Man, I love pretty much Marvel. Is you can name most characters. I love most characters, even the stupid ones. I love. But then I'm like, why did I prefer the Superman movie over the Fantastic Four movie? And I think it has to do with the fact that it is probably because the thing we were discussing, where it's the edits, where the amount of stuff that was unfortunately taken out of the movie that
Yeah,
makes.
so this is where so I one thing I will say is that this was the best Fantastic Four film we've ever had, hands down. Um, we haven't had better. Um, but when I watched it twice in the cinema because the first time I saw it, I've got to say although I had noticed some weird bits in there that kind of didn't make sense to me, I assumed I'd missed something because for the most part I was in awe of what I was seeing. Um,
Yeah.
and then on the second watch, this is what got me. I noticed a couple of things. One, there's big gaps kind of in how the story's told. It felt like stuff had been removed. And now we've found out actually in all the parts where I was like, feels like something's been removed, there was bits removed. Things like the whole Red Ghost stuff with John Malkovich and his apes, on fighting on the moon, of all things. We missed that. We missed a whole weird conversation, which now we see parts of this because the fight on the moon apparently would have had Johnny losing all of his oxygen trying to use his powers on the moon for the first time in the suit, which is why they have the conversation that comes back later on. Have you fixed my suit yet? Because he wants to go back into space. Um, and then also the weird reason why Johnny is really, really interested in working out languages. And we saw a clip early on in trailers and in release stuff of Johnny standing on a beach with Charlotte Ball as her human form on the beach. Well, that's because when he touches the surfboard, he's meant to go into her memories and understand what she's talking about. So he understands her language on a level of
Yeah.
feeling as well as a phrase. He comes back, and that's how he starts
Well,
getting this weird
well, he also is.
compulsion to
He
her
is.
language.
Well, the thing with the language thing also is is when he goes in to see Reed for the suit. Remember, Reed's just got a new recording of an alien language. It happens to be the alien language that the Silver Surfer speaks from Shambhala. Is it Shambhala?
Well, that's because they've been picked. Yeah, yeah. No, she's from.
I forget the name of the
Uh,
planet. I always forget Silver Surfer's homeworld.
yeah,
Also the thing that I always love is the fact that I'm happy we got we got uh Shala Bal, Norin's wife. We got because it means that they can use him later if they want to bring Galactus back and have the Herald in like the
yeah,
main MCU. I'm glad that for a
yeah. I mean,
story that they set in another universe, they gave us because it's another universe. We're giving you the one of the alternate, Silver Surfers that you get.
yes. I mean,
I
that was.
like that.
I think this was very much a clear definition that this isn't going to be your actual MCU
Oh yeah.
universe like characters. We know we're going to give you them later on. But the Galactus of it all was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Shalabal was awesome.
Oh yeah.
She did.
I
They
herald,
did that good.
I herald your end. I
Yeah, I
herald
mean,
his
all of it.
beginning. I
I've got
herald
to say, all of it was good.
Galactus.
But yeah, but like I say, you on constant rewatches, um, especially when you're at home and you get to just sit there, you
Hmm.
really do notice how weirdly it's broken up and how actually stitched together
Yeah.
ran in weird ways. Like the whole stuff with the
Well,
mole man.
it's the thing as we
Why is
both
that
said. I
important?
think we both agreed a lot of Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6 have had a little bit of this, like in certain bits where,
Yeah,
like as I noticed, I only noticed this after watching Thunderbolts that the end scene from Thunderbolts where Bucky, is coming back to speak to them after speaking to Sam. is taking place at that point in Captain America: Civil War, where Bucky shows up for Torres.
Not Civil War.
Not Civil War, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
the Brave New World. They take that
yeah.
point takes place at the same point as Brave New World's President's Rampage moment,
But
basically. And I'm like, okay, this is I get what's happened here. I get now how these two, why Cap wasn't here to help at this point, and why you know they both didn't help each
I mean,
other.
stuff like
'Cause-
that
but
is
it's like,
really good. And,
but because it's not edited properly, I didn't realize that until after watching the Thunderbolts again when it came on Disney Plus. After
yeah,
watching Brave New World again, because I kind of like Brave New World. It's not the best. I generally like it because we get to see Red Hulk be Red Hulk, and I do agree with a lot of people's criticism of the film that the orchard scene, the bit that should have got him to calm down, should have been Betty showing up in that scene instead of showing up in the end credit scene.
yeah.
I
And
fully agree with people on that because that would have been the perfect way to showcase that like the whole like theme that had been going on throughout the whole film. If you know what I mean?
yeah, but the other thing is that if you're making what had so close to being a really, really good spy film, you know, a proper espionage film where everything's just going to crap and you don't know why until the reveal at the end. Um, would have been, it was so close to doing it, but they messed up on two big fronts. One was in the trailers releasing the Red Hulk as part of its promotional material because that really, really needed to be the big shock moment. Um, and the other one is the big reveal in towards the end of trailers of it was going to be oh, got his bloody name now. Not Mastermind. Um, the Hulk villain with the big brain. You know what I mean? Uh, all of that came out in promotional material. It was just silly. Um, so yeah, I can't believe that they did that. Uh, and that kind of makes you lose so much of it. The Serpent Society as well. There was no real need for any of them to be involved. Uh, even with the explanation of what was going on, it just once again felt like with so many other things is that this was obviously another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they just kept those elements in as much as they could to fill space and time. When actually they kind of didn't need to.
Oh,
Uh,
which film are you on about now? Are you going on your Marvels rant again?
yeah, I am. I'm
For
still.
God's
I'm
sake,
on
not
Brave New World
again.
because well, no. To be fair, you messaged me to say talk for 2 minutes, and I was talking about Brave New World, so I just carried it on.
Oh no,
Um,
he's on in the Marvels rant again. This is not like this again.
yeah, no,
He's done this
the
like
problem
five
with the
episodes in a
Fantastic
row
Four,
once.
yeah, the problem with Fantastic Four is that this time, and like I said, maybe it's because I've overwatched it and I've realised it, is that I could only now watch it in parts because that is the only way my brain will actually start to make sense of it. Because, but why does Mister Fantastic really not use his powers that much?
That bit
Um,
that I will agree with. It does actually genuinely annoy me, but he doesn't. The only times we see him use his powers is in the flashback to Red Ghost, where he kicks the orangutan off the thing, and then
yeah,
like a few, like just one or two other scenes. He doesn't. He barely uses his powers in the film,
it's
and I'm like,
used more in that flashback, those flashbacks, than it is used in the rest of the film,
yeah,
except when he's fighting Galactus. And even then, it's nothing special. It's just sort of Spider-Man swings. Um, and really feels like they missed the element, you know?
yeah. I know what you mean. It's like don't get me wrong. I like the film. It's not. It's one of those films that I'm like.
Yeah,
Shang Chi is, in my opinion, one of the undersung heroes of of Phase 4 and 5. Though Shang Chi's fucking awesome. I love that
yes.
movie. Is it
By
Samuel
now,
Lily in it?
Shang-Chi should have had at least a sequel, at least one sequel. Um,
Yeah.
I think it is an absolute travesty that that movie is being overlooked.
Oh yeah. Was Aquafina?
Um,
And is it? It's Simi Yi, isn't it? The guy, the one that plays Shang. Aquafina, yeah, they are so fucking good. I love those two together. I've seen them in like another film together, and they're just They have really good like chemistry with each other, and they just
Yeah,
in most films they bounce off each other really well. I'm like, I like these two together. They're actually really good to get, really good actors when they're paired up, but they're really good.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, he was a fantastic Ken in Barbie.
I always forget he was a Ken in Barbie.
He was one of the main. He was one of the main five Kens. Weirdly enough, another Ken you might remember was also the big villain in
What?
the Secret Wars.
I don't because I
You could,
remember. Are you about Secret Invasion?
yeah, Secret
You are
Invasion.
remembering the entirety of Secret Invasion. I've watched this the first episode, and then when this is boring, I'm turning it off.
Oh,
I,
you're lucky.
I never what I couldn't watch it. I was like, you just literally killed the only character I was probably interested to watch in this thing immediately in the first episode.
Yeah,
Because I'm sorry, but Maria Hill is vastly underrepresented in the MCU. Because I am sorry, but I love Maria Hill in the comics, especially when she goes off the fucking deep end
yeah.
in the
There
first
was
Civil
so much
War.
wrong with that series.
In the first Civil War, when she goes off the deep end and basically tells them to hunt Cap down because he won't sign the Registration Act.
Yeah.
I love
I
that
mean, there
entire
was a
thing.
great
That
bit in
entire
it. There's a great bit in it where you meet Nick Fury's wife and all the stuff around that, and that had so much potential, like really being a nice bit of glue that could hold so much of this together. And then they were like, "Yeah, fuck it, we're gone." So
yeah,
what the fuck?
it's not. It was just one of those things of unfortunate side effect of, oh yeah, we've got this really great idea, but it just from everything I've heard of it, like I couldn't even get into the first episode, and I'm like, well, we're doing like a spy thriller, but the problem with spy thrillers is you need to get your audience hooked into the intrigue and the the premise by that first episode,
Yeah, and they didn't.
and it
Uh,
really didn't.
and the
Just like,
worst part, the biggest sin of it all as well is that the main goal for the end of this series was the idea of
crap,
there being super scrolls
and there's a meta
around.
mind. That means
Um,
actually, yeah, the villain of that
and
series, the villain of that series may be a villain, but he's not a super one, and you know why, Jax?
uh,
Because Secret Wars lacks presentation.
well, I mean, here's the problem. The other was they entered the super scrolls into the consciousness of the MCU,
Hmm.
but they gave them both every single power up until that point in the MCU.
Hmm. They made the Super Scroll, and then the Super Scroll when it first appears originally in the comics, like I get why they couldn't do the Super Scroll in the way that they originally when it first appears
Well,
in the comics. It
no, but
has
here's
the
the thing.
Fantastic
What they
Four's
could have done,
powers.
yeah, but here's the thing. That would have been a great thing to see. What you would have is the main villain being given all the powers under the sun,
Hmm.
but then there was only four left, and they would give um, Emilia Clarke's character those four, and the other guy pound the shit out of it until the powers start to overpower the body it's in. Like what happens in the comic books when they try and, because that's the thing about Super Scott as well. Yes, it's got fantastic characters. That's who they were fighting
Hmm.
for. But in the law, when we've read other things, they tried more powers, and do you know what happened? They blew up,
It blows up. It was.
and that would
I
have
think.
been the thing. We didn't win this fight. It killed itself through
I
its own
think.
hubris.
I think the other thing that's the major issue, if you've asked me, with it, is trying to do secret invasions with the scrolls, and unfortunately, in the case of the MCU, you've made the scrolls the good guys. They're not bad guys in this universe. They're kind of these refugees running from a war against the Kree, who've been wiping them
Yeah.
out for no reason other
Now,
and then I'm like, oh, and then there's this group of terrorists that want to take over the Earth, and I'm suddenly going, to me, this just screams, what, why, when the
well,
Earth is
no,
literally
well,
the one who's
weirdly enough,
allied with
so
you.
I did watch it, and weirdly enough, I understand why um, the Rogue Scrolls did what they did, and this was, I mean, because you got to remember, this ended up being a Nick Fury story.
Mm.
So the same, this story did then mirror everything he's done before, like with the Avengers. You know, the only reason the Avengers actually got together in that big fight to work together was because he pulled out a deck of cards covered in the blood of their favourite agent, a sweet agent, and said they killed him, and that's his blood. But he fought dying, and you're going to do nothing about it. And then the Avengers go out. He manipulated these guys, and he kept manipulating them until they broke apart.
Oh yeah.
And then the same things happened here. He found these scrolls. He gave them the sanctuary. He said, "The best of you, though, if you want to keep everyone safe, be my spies." And then they started to realise they were just being used. They were being used the same way they've been used by the Kree and everyone
Hmm.
else. And they wanted a bit of their own. And they fought back. So this was a great kind of mirror to everything else that was happening through. But the actual way that they did it in the end was pointless.
Hmm. But the other
Um,
thing with it, I think the other thing with it is it's just I honestly think they should have done it in a way of having um kind of felt like the bad guys in it shouldn't have been the Skrulls. It should have been. I know we aren't shapeshifters, but they do
yeah,
employ members of. They are like a composite race of different people that they've conquered and
yeah,
everything. I kind of felt like, to me, the bad guys, like from the initial outset, the bad guys should have been the Kree, like infiltrating human society, by using their human-appearing, members of their of members of their empire to root out and wipe the Skrulls out that are on Earth, and have it as this kind of, like a call back to, the Captain Marvel film, the first one, and
yeah.
showing that, and then I think that would have, in my opinion, worked better, only because you'd already like. I get how they've established that these rogue Skrulls have become bad guys, and the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because they've realized they were just being used by the humans, used by Shield and everything. But it's like I feel like that would have been a much better story, if you get what I mean.
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the other thing. I think they've missed.
Because
The other story, I think that story does work. The original story idea does work. And here's just why. I like yours. But here's why. Is because if these people are taken in refugee group, like they were,
mm-hmm.
and been hidden from the global public that they're hiding, if you then find out that one, not only do these people exist, and they could be looking like anyone, but actually there's a terrorist organisation of them as well. Not only do you then become fearful of the terrorist organisation, you become fearful of all of them. So you get this, I don't like what's different moment. They're aliens. But then from that, this is where I think a lot of other things are meant to come in, because from that, you were going to be getting things like Kamala Khan and then the mutant stuff. So the idea really is of hidden but different becomes such a big thing.
Oh yeah,
So if Friends of Humanity start off not hating mutants but hating aliens, mutants become later because they also look like us, but they're different.
I am.
But what I think we missed in particular is two films. And I think and this is what I mean is you needed one film to show that the Kree were being used in some fashion. So the Skrulls were being used in some fashion for espionage. And that would be a small quip or something in another film,
Give us a spy
or
thriller.
showing it happen.
Give us a spy.
Yeah.
Give us a spy
But
thriller with the like. Personally, now I love Scarlett Johansson. I love Black Widow.
yeah,
But the Black Widow movie was fucking pointless. The only good,
here's the thing, and
the only thing it did
this is where
really
that could
good
be quite.
was introduce two characters that, in my opinion, are two of the best MCU characters at the minute. And you know which two characters I'm going to say, don't you, Jax? Yelena and
Yeah,
fucking
go on.
Red Guardian, because I love fucking
Well,
David
this is the
Harbour.
thing.
He's
Well, this is the thing.
brilliant.
This is where I think the ending of Black Widow should have been the second film I'm talking about, because I think that with everything that was happening, um,
Hmm.
I think that film should have ended with Black Widow being killed just before the blip. And this is why I'm going to say it makes sense, is because Yelena only sees her getting killed before she disappears, and afterwards we see her turn into a Skrull. That way, the events of what actually happens with her in the mission where she's meant to have been disappeared for ages anyway, still goes ahead. She still gets killed there. But when Elena comes back, she then hears, wait a minute, she was killed on Veromir. I saw her die here. But then I'll go and find out who killed her on Veromir. It doesn't matter. That's where she ended up. She obviously survived there. The viewer knows something different. By the time you get to Secret Invasion, that's when you've already got the part that there's this terrorist group. One of the heroes has already been hidden away in someone else's story. Who else is not the hero that you expect? That's when you see Rhodey turn, and then you go, "Oh shit, when was Rhodey turned?" And that means someone else.
Which currently the current confirmed thing is apparently he was turned at the end of Civil War, which means that Rhodey in Endgame is not Rhodey.
Yeah, so
it's weird.
This is interesting
because we keep getting so many conflicting versions of when Rhodey was fucking turned into a Skrull.
We've got 2 official people giving us 2 official answers that are different.
Mm-hmm. And therein lies
that's
the
a problem.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. But and I was going to say enough about the Fantastic Four stuff, because the Fantastic Four, the Marvel stuff at the minute, I am excited for what we're going to get next year. Doomsday has me excited anyway because it's a chance to finally see all the X-Men actors, hopefully, just like Channing Tatum got to be in comic accurate fucking costumes, because I really want to see. Yep. I want to see Scott Marsden in the iconic blue and yellow, because I think he deserves justice, because he did play Scott decently well.
Very well. Very well.
All the actors did a good job. Like, I have nothing. The only actor that didn't do a good job, and I will agree with you after now seeing the Rogue cut of Days of Futures Past, that it wasn't her fault. is Annika Paquin, which is, who played Rogue. Anna Paquin is because. And it's purely because the way the writers wrote Rogue in those films that's not Rogue.
Awful. Yeah. And when they finally wrote her properly, they edited her out of the fucking film.
They edited her out of the film unless you get the director's cut, basically, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
And it's like...
The Rogue cut, really hard to get hold of. You can find it. I believe the digital version is now available on Prime, but the Rogue cut is the ultimate edition of that film. It is a complete... Weirdly enough, it becomes a completely different film.
I will still admit, I am annoyed that Days of Future Past, the film, that Logan becomes the main character, because as me and you both know from the original comic version of that, the main character is the one that Elliot Page plays.
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde is the one that gets set, because it's her story of how how Kitty becomes becomes an actual full-fledged member of the X-Men. It's kind of the story of how she realizes who she is, and that she is actually a really, more confident, because at that point she was still kind of the newbie originally when she sent Back to the Past, and she's kind of like she sort of grows up fast from that. And it's one of my I like the original because it's Kitty that goes and Shadowcat is fucking badass, and even the fall of X, like that whole sequence in the comic of Fall of X where she's just killing the Orcus guys, and it's just like, and it's just one of them just straight up goes and says the line that's in that one of the people says in the X-Men 97 cartoon to Rogue.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be one of the good guys, and she's just like, no, you killed all the good guys. Now you get me.
Yeah.
And she's just ripping these people apart, and I'm like, yeah, you woke up the Shadowcat. You fucked up. You woke up.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, when you actually consider what her power set is,
I remember who trained her, because she was trained by Logan, ninjas, and someone else. She has been trained by like three people that are very good at killing people. She is a fucking and Kitty is. We've seen what happens in the one universe where Kitty. What if Kitty Pryde didn't have morals? To watching her use her power, where she just straight up killed Emma Frost by crushing her heart. It's like,
oh yeah, I mean, this is a character that even characters like Apocalypse and the Phoenix or Phoenix Force in general has trouble laying hits on initially. They always have to sort of regroup themselves for a second or third attack. There's not many that get that.
She's also a character that
Uh,
generally is like everyone goes, "Oh, what's her power? Just phasing through walls." No, no, no. Her power's phasing through anything. She can choose what to materialize as well. Meaning, she can phase a hand through your chest, materialize her hand, rip your heart out,
yeah, or one of my
or
favorite things
grab
that
your heart,
sort of doesn't
phase your
really,
heart out while she pulls it out of your chest, and then phase it back in front of you. So you die the second after, just after after your heart just reappears.
or one that's a little bit very not used as often as it kind of should be, is that not only can she sort of phase, but
Hmm.
because of the way she can control how her molecules work, she can walk on air.
Hmm.
Like she can just like that sort of joke of just walking up invisible steps. Yeah, she can do that.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
do
not
love that.
flying
I
and
do
it's
love
not
that her
flying
power
as
is the only
well.
reason she couldn't use the Krakoan gates, though. The gates just didn't work. I love the fact that the real reason Kitty can't use the gates, her own power prevents her from using the gates, because for some reason, so she has to
Which is
get here the other way.
an incredibly overpowered character when you actually consider what
Yeah,
her power set is.
she is, but the problem,
And
but the only thing holding Kitty Pryde back, Kitty Pryde's a good is a genuinely good person who has morals, and she doesn't do shit unless you fucking piss her off. You piss her off, you're probably about
um,
to die, probably about to have your friend and you melded together, or just gonna meld you halfway through a fucking wall. Because why the fuck not? You did the wrong thing. Because she was trained by
yeah, I mean,
assassins.
it's kind of that, or um, you come up against her very small pet that is a dragon.
Ah, yes, Lockheed is the best. Lockheed.
You know,
I'm. I still want. I'm gonna say this. I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but I want Anna Taylor Joy. If we get magic in the MCU, I want Anna Taylor Joy back because Anna Taylor Joy was, was the best thing out of New Mutants, and she was fucking magic in that film.
yeah, she was very good,
She was
very very good.
she literally played that character like perfectly, and I'm like, that's magic. Give me her in the MCU as magic because she played her perfectly.
Once again, that is a film that gets a lot of hate that isn't deserved, but it does deserve a lot of hate.
I like the
Um,
movie. It's not amazing. It is an objectively bad movie, but I don't think it's an objectively bad film
yeah,
because of the actresses, and the actors in the film, or because of the people that starred in it. I think it's because it unfortunately got put in development hell for how long, and got
it
put in so
did.
much, so much.
It had so many problems.
Yeah, but I
Um,
genuinely like the idea of a Marvel horror movie because it is a Marvel horror movie. That's what it essentially is. It's a horror film, not a.
it it really, I've got to say, I would say this was definitely a precursor to us getting Werewolf by Night.
Oh yeah, well, for Night is fucking brilliant. I also Man Thing finally getting to be in it, to be in something, and
He
that's just awesome.
Man Thing and Thing Fan Foom. They are two characters that I never thought I would ever see on screen.
Hmm.
Um, and now I have had Man Thing. I'm happy. Thing Fang Foom has been hint dropped for decades,
I
and
think,
we've never got anything.
let's be honest, they're just trying to figure out when the best point is to drop the dragon wearing purple shorts. That's the reason. They're like, where do we put the dragon wearing purple shorts? Where do we put him? where
Thing
do,
Fang Foom, yeah, I mean, there are many versions of
Oh yeah,
uh,
let's be absolutely
a
honest.
literal
I
thing.
know where he's going to finally show up. He'll show up in fucking Doomsday as like a background character in a scene. He'll just be there, and
I,
there's Fing Fan Foom. What the fuck? Finally, finally get the cameo. Because let's be honest, how I'm wondering if we're going to get another Seth Green, Howard the Duck cameo since we've had him like in all three Guardians films. I wonder if we're going to get him again in another, another
I
cameo because I
think
kind of
they
like
are
him.
going to avoid. I do. I will say this because no one's going to hear it. I actually love Howard the Duck. I love the original movie. Um, I have uh, I have Howard the Duck number 1 here somewhere. With the little Spider-Man shit in it.
What you mean?
Um,
Do you have the how? Do you have? Yeah, but the How Duck movie is awesome. Like it's a, yeah, it's not amazing. It's a cheesy fucking, like Like 80s,
It
90s B movie,
no,
but it
no.
is
I
fucking
mean,
awesome.
it is a. I mean, it's bad, but it's fun. The
It's not a
I
serious
mean,
movie.
it's how it's not a serious movie. You've got to be okay with a mild level of bestiality. Um, it's
You have got to be okay with a mild level of beast. Just a mild
it's
level.
and it's only on a duck level and Molly Ringwald. It's weird. It's weird.
Like,
But yes,
stuff I never thought
it's
I'd hear on this show. A mild level of
yeah.
bestiality.
I mean, I don't know what Steven Spielberg was thinking.
Look,
Um,
Steven
especially
Spielberg.
since I
Look. It's Steven Spielberg. The guy was probably not thinking. He just went Marvel character. That's and I have an opportunity to make a
well,
somewhat comedy movie.
no,
Do it.
no. So no, weirdly enough, no, he was a massive fan of the Howard the Duck comic books and really just wanted to do something funky and weird because he could at that time, you know. Um, but here's the thing: this was in an era when no one was making comic book movies except for Superman and Batman. That was it. Um, no one was crying out for the next Spider-Man film. No one was crying out for a new X-Men. It weren't like now. You know, even when you made a Superman or a Batman film, you were expecting it to fail and hoping for the best. Um, and even then, after how Superman 3 and 4 fared, people were worried. There was a big gap of only getting like basically made for TV stuff that might have made it to the screen, but it really never did. Uh,
Is that the era where
Spotty,
we got?
well, it
Is
was that
that the
one.
era where we got my infamous joke earlier of when Captain America stole a van from some dude driving down the road?
Well, no, so that was all. So that was
Uh,
weird enough. That was a load of 90s made for TV, 80s, 90s stuff, and some 70s stuff all mixed together. Um, so it kind of so pre Power Rangers. Lots of movies were being made in Japan using very famous characters. And that's why we get a live action set of Spider-Man films um, from the 70s and 80s. It's because it was all Japanese stuff, which they then got an American Peter Parker to do Peter Parker bits. Um,
the new Peter
but it
Parker
was
bit.
their early Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of related to the Power Ranger. So the American bits, instead of having an Asian dude, they just literally did the Power Rangers thing, cut that scene, and redid it with an American dude. Um,
Oh, do you like how Power Rangers redid all the out of costume scenes with the American cast, and then all the costume scenes were very clearly that's a guy in the yellow in the pink and yellow Rangers outfits.
so, little bit of weird history to all of this. The reason that came about was because like Marvel found out that there was all this copyright stuff and a thing called Spider Man over in Japan. And, he saw this and realised what they could do with that. But came back with a
Mhm.
cassette tape of a bunch of 5 heroes in colourful costumes and thought we could do something with this. He brought it back to Marvel and everyone went,
No,
no.
and then he took it. So was it
Um, no,
Hasbro?
no, no, he didn't take it nowhere. No, he didn't take it nowhere. He gave up on it. 5 years later, Saban goes out, Herschel Saban goes out, finds this cassette tape in Japan, looks at it and goes,
We can make toys
if
out of
I can
this.
get this cheap enough, I can do something with this.
Yep.
He brought it back.
The
He
rest is
turned it into the
history.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by doing exactly what Marvel did with the Spider-Man films.
Uh huh.
Exactly the same technique. And boom, $1 billion industry was made on the back of that.
And
And
the
do you
rest.
know what's even funnier? There
What?
is actually, well, risk is an history here because a woman that works at Marvel is now one of the head people at Hasbro. And what she found very funny is both people brought the same cassette tape back from Japan. Out of all the different versions of Power Rangers that existed, out of all the even cassette tapes of any one particular series of Jew Ranger, they brought back the same 3 episodes on cassette tape.
It's the fact that that Marvel didn't. If Marvel had actually said yes at that point, Marvel would have been in charge of $1 billion industry of Power Rangers, and that's kind of funny.
It would have been interesting to see how they would have done it, because if they had done it the same way and brought it out,
Hmm.
it obviously it would have been a different cast. It would have been a unionized cast. There would have been a bit more money behind it, but we would have had a comic book and animated adventure series to go with it. It would have had kind of what you expect from the Marvel universe now.
Yeah,
If that had gone ahead there and it had now become, well, weird enough, no, that's not true, because Marvel went through its big downfall a few years later, and that's when they sold everything off. This is the reason why we have all these issues with movie rights right
yeah, we know.
now.
With Sony still having technical ownership of
So
Spider-Man, but not
technically,
having ownership. So
yeah.
weird.
So technically, we don't know. I mean, yeah, mate, if they got the Power Rangers and they did that, they wouldn't have gone through the bankruptcy, but then they wouldn't be with Disney now.
Yeah,
Um,
but to be fair,
so
we'll never. To be fair, we got Power Rangers out of Simon, and we got the Power Rangers that we grew up with, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Which the theme tune for that is "Forever Burned in My Skull."
perfect thinking.
It's like
And another weird little fact about that is, I don't know. I can't remember if it was that version in particular, or if it was the all the movie stuff, which was very similar music to redid it all. It was Simon Cowell's production company that put that together,
I think it was the
and
remake,
so,
the movie
so
version.
I know I 100% know it was the movie version, but I couldn't remember if it was the original as well. But Simon Cowell puts himself in the music that he produced at the time. So I don't know if this one was one of them, but there could be some point where he's playing an instrument so he gets a credit and money from every time it's played. And at the back in the day, that would have been everywhere.
Yeah. No, Fox owned X-Men. Fox owned X-Men, Fantastic Four, and what was the other? Blade, wasn't it technically as well for a while? Because Fox produced the Blade movies, didn't they?
I
Jack.
can't remember their full list of stuff that they bought.
Yeah. It was. We know it's the
I know
reason why Fantastic
Universal
Four stopped
was,
appearing for ages because they didn't want to give like Fantastic Four and X Men both stopped getting comics made for ages was because
yeah,
of the
I
whole
mean,
we're not giving money to our
this,
competitor. That's
yeah.
why they took a chance on three superheroes that had never worked individually. They'd always
Well,
worked
the big
as a
problem
group.
was, I mean, and this is quite interesting because it didn't affect Spider Man because Spider Man was so big. But so Fantastic Four are known as the first family of Marvel for many reasons. They were really their first superhero group, superhero entity. They were the OGs, and so much is padded to them. Um, but the contracts with a lot of these things is everything that belongs to the franchise that a company is now leasing is theirs. And they were like, well, what are we making new villains, new storylines for this company that we don't own? We're not making any money off that back end of that stuff. So no, we'll stop. And they did. They stopped it outright.
Who owned
Spider
Hulk?
Man was so popular at Universal.
That was at
Um,
Universal.
uh, and some other people along the way. I won't talk
They were the
about
ones who tried to to boot the Hulk thing out. The first film did kind of well, but didn't do well. Didn't do well. Edward Norton, is it Edward Norton who played him in the first one or the second one?
No, it was Eric Banner. Edmund was the second one.
Eric Banner played him in the first one, and it didn't really
Yes.
do that well, did it?
No, that was an interesting one. There
And
was many
it was
problems with
also,
it.
to be fair, the CGI in that film was so bad that he looks like a cartoon.
Well, yeah. The other big problem they had, well, I mean, rendering wasn't around, not proper render. I mean, but they were also trying something very new in the
Yeah,
fact that they were trying to show a animated comic more than a film, and they told it in these weird floating panels that
yeah.
kept jumping up all over the place, and it really made it more schizophrenic than Possible. Um, and the other problem is that they've really latched on to a niche part of the Hulk's ability
Oh
that
yeah.
even in the most biggest Hulk stories, they very rarely touch on it unless there is a reason to touch on it. And that is technically the angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he gets,
I think
but
the,
the
the only time
bigger
they use it
he
in the comics
gets.
is literally when he's fighting an enemy that's actually stronger than him to start with, because he starts getting
Yeah,
frustrated at
right.
being beat, and then suddenly that bad guy suddenly gets like their fist caught or something, and it's like, uh oh.
Yeah, but here's the problem is that instead of explaining this to the viewer that
Yeah.
hasn't read the handful of comics about it and has
hmm
really only seen Lou Ferrigno's version, and a few animated ones.
I will
Um,
also say the best cameo in that best part of that film's cameos was seeing Stan Lee and Lou Ferrigno walking out of the building together. It's like,
yeah, I mean
and
that
there's the
was
OG
Lou
Hulk, and
Ferrigno.
there's the guy who there's the guy that helped create him. Give
But
him a bit.
what got me was like the thing that was the side issue because then this became a big problem because there were some scenes when he hulked out and he would then walk out of a door.
Yep.
There was sometimes when he would hulk out and the first floor of the building would explode, and there were sometimes he would hulk out and the house would explode,
Yeah.
and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, and then there was also
And then it all,
the scene in the base where the guy's like trying to stab with a needle, and he's just getting bigger and bigger as they shoot him, and I'm like, what?
uh,
It's like you're not portraying
yeah,
this strong, because Hulk doesn't get bigger when he gets stronger. It's just his proportionate strength seems to get stronger. That's the thing.
no. Yes, technically. So, like I say, it's a very niche side of his power set, and it does happen, but rarely.
hmm
Like you're meant to just most times you're meant to just assume it's happening, and it's indistinctable. But yes, he does get
Yeah, he
the
gets
angrier it gets, the
25 feet
stronger it
tall
gets,
in
the
that
bigger
film, and it's stupid.
it gets bigger, and he does get bigger. His muscles get bigger, but yeah, he doesn't get to the size of a freaking house.
No.
Um, I, I mean, he does top off at maestro levels. That's it.
Yeah, but
Um,
maestro levels is when you're basically going, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked. That's
kind of, but
maestro.
even in the equipment, it doesn't happen
Because
that
when
often.
maestro
Like,
shows up, it's usually, oh, we're fucked.
yeah, so that's what I say. So it was an odd thing that they decided to
Yeah.
use as a commonality. That explained it, and it just felt like they didn't understand
No, and
CGI.
then it's Edward Norton's him in
And
the
then
second movie, in it, the Incredible
yes,
Hulk.
and that is technically, although, and now I've got to get this right because this is, if I remember correctly, this is still technically
It is canon because
the
it's
way that they've done it.
the end of the Iron Man
So
movie.
it is canon. It is the first of So it is the first of the MCU as we know it,
Yeah.
as we know it at the time, because it does have the crossover at the end.
Well, it's not just that; it's also
But
because
the thing is,
at the end of Iron Man, is it 1 or 2, when Nick is recruiting him for the Avengers? Um, in the
yeah,
background of that scene is the whole rampage from that movie playing. Is the rampage from that movie? It's on the
yeah,
screens everywhere.
yeah. But the point is that this was, if I remember correctly, it was still a Universal owned
Yeah,
property at that point in
I
time,
think it was because yeah,
and it was actually an early version of the contract that they did with Sony for Spider-Man,
hmm then Universal just sold him back to them.
and they still actually have. Well, yes and no. There is actually a very big limit on what they can do with the Hulk because of this. I do believe Universal still have a bit of it.
I think he's only
Um,
allowed to be in he's only allowed to
I
be in team up movies, because
yes, he's only allowed to
it's
be in
why he's not on his
ensembles.
own
He's
in it.
not
He's
allowed.
only in Avengers. He's only in the Thor film as a side character. He's and in
Yeah,
he's not had his own solo movies. But
no,
adversely, I'd also have to say Hulk is one of those characters that, in my opinion, like, as much as I would love a solo movie for Hulk, don't get me wrong, yeah,
yeah,
he he works better when he has like another character to go off. he needs another character because it's all great and
Yes,
good with Big Rage Monster and having the human side of Banner, but
it's the same issue I have with Superman.
yeah, you need other
A
characters there that are.
Superman film or a Hulk film on their own is too much.
Mhm. Unless you're specifically having it like, for example, for Superman, unless specifically the threat of that movie, like for the whole thing, for example, Man of Steel is Zod, someone that is
Yeah.
his level of supervillain. Unless that is the threat of the movie, then it doesn't work as a solo movie because most of Superman's other villains, example Lex, for example, Lex's only thing is I outsmart you all the fucking time. That's all I do. I
Yeah.
am.
But the
Yeah.
problem with all these things is that you have to find a way to nerf the character for a big fucking film because you can't have a 2 hour film of Superman fighting Zod or the Hulk fighting Abomination. So with the Hulk films, at least you get the Bruce Banner of it all.
Yeah. Well, with
Um, but if all that's ever going to be is just him moping in a cupboard until someone tries to shoot him,
yeah.
you don't get much of a film. And with Superman, if it's only going to be Zod locking him in a kryptonite cage, it's not that good. Whereas what they did with the most recent Superman, because without doing a spoiler, the main threat is a Zod level threat,
Yeah.
but with other threats in between.
Oh yeah.
But they
Also.
show how they nerf him, why they nerf him, and why he can't just go and battle.
Oh yeah. But
And that
I
made sense in
also
that film.
they show. It's not a spoiler. It's like it's in the trailer the scene where you see him and Lois together, and then there's in the background the weird wibbly thing, and then you see like a green thing hit it because and it's like in
Oh yeah.
this man not
I love
it's
that
like
scene.
that scene, and it's like Lois even asking me in that scene because so I will spoil it because it's only a minor little thing, but it's something that establishes the world building of why I like the new DCU. That he's
Yes,
going, no, like they can just deal with that thing. They don't need my help. They can deal with it. They've got that.
don't need my
Like,
help.
yeah, it's the
No,
fact that he straight
I'm
up
busy
said,
looking for my dog.
yeah, I'm busy doing this. I'm busy doing this part. They can deal with that themselves. And I do agree with you, Crimson, that yeah, the antagonist of a Hulk movie should generally be something that's Hulk level. It needs to be a threat that's actually like the Abomination, someone who's capable of fighting him. Because it's if you
Well,
have
no,
it,
I
but
kind of I
but
think Crimson might mean that the Hulk should be the antagonist, and there you're right.
yeah,
It should be something sets the Hulk off, and everyone has to try and deal with what that is.
yeah, the Hulk. Yeah,
Um,
antagonist of the Hulk movie it should be the Hulk, or if you're trying to have him shown as the hero, you have to have something more monstrous than the Hulk as the bad guy. Someone that's even more out of control. And the only villain that comes to mind is the guy that we're not going to get to see again because Sony cancelled their Sony Spider-Man-less Sonyverse. And you know who I'm going to say. In my own opinion, that I can think of off the top of my head is Null. Someone like his level, if you know what I mean. All those
well, I
villains
mean,
straight
they
up.
kind of had it. I mean, at I mean, once again, it goes to Brave New World. They should have saved Red Hulk for something else. Yeah, I mean, like
Red Hulk should have not even been in the trailer.
Kim
He
was
should have
saying,
never been in the trailer. The whole antagonist of that movie should have just been shown off to be these, this warring thing with the nations fighting over thing, and never ever put Red Hulk in that trailer. So it was a fucking reveal in the movie.
even so, if you had a Hulk film, where you have um, you had General Ross going after a Hulk um, because of something because that, for whatever reason, let's say in this case that that the Smart Hulk version is now broken down and he's turning again, and it comes down to rage and Thunderbolt's not happy about this. It's mostly because Betty's left in as well, and you got this, and then the final fight would be um, Ross losing his marbles completely, turning into the Red Hulk, and literally his hatred for the Hulk itself would be the thing that's fueling the nuclear meltdown. And that would then be a great kickoff. I would actually have loved to have seen an Ironmonger US agent Thunderbolts team.
Yeah, but well, Ironmonger's dead. We did get US
Well,
Agent
no, but his
Thunderbolts
son's
team.
not. No, but for this point, what's it? The son's not. The son has become almost Ironmonger Junior thanks
I
to
know,
Riri Williams.
I know.
That would have been
I
that
love.
would have been a great addition.
It would, yeah, but you had I love you went to Ironmonger and US Agent. We did get US Agent. That's John Walker. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, okay? Having rewatched Thunderbolts, there is one thing about that movie. One thing about that movie that I do not get why people are glazing over is John Walker does not have any fucking redemption in that movie or character development.
Not at all.
Not at all. Why are people glazing him suddenly? I'm like, no. He is not redeemed himself. Oh yeah, we get tragic bastard. That's the tragic bastard of most, unfortunately. It's that sad of a lot of unfortunate men that have people that have been in the military and then have gone back to civilian life of not knowing how to deal with the
But here's the thing.
PTSD. But it's like he doesn't
John
have any
Walker's not a
development.
character that gets redemption in the comics anyway.
Yeah. I'm still annoyed that they killed fucking Taskmaster because I will admit, I would have loved Tony Masters, the original Taskmaster, but I kind of like the way
Yeah.
they did Taskmaster in this universe of like this version of Taskmaster. I like it's not amazing, but I kind of like that version of Taskmaster. It kind of annoys me that it's just dies immediately at the start of the film,
Yeah.
and I'm like, could you not kill
Would have
John Walker
been.
instead and actually have Taskmaster? Because I kind of would have preferred her over him. Because just like fuck.
Well, the problem with the Taskmaster one is, other than using the other people's abilities, would be completely useless in that film. I mean, it's really weird why that character was used at all in that movie. It was as if they just wanted to clear up a loose end and kill off a character that is just around. Um, because you didn't gain anything from it. And it's just weird. It's almost like something else was meant to have happened. But yeah,
Yeah, because
it's
John
not
Walker,
like he can copy
Walker's the guy that
superpowers.
killed the
So
terrorist with with Cap Shield. Yeah, his name is U.S. Agent usually in the comics and tends to be a villain of Captain America. He's basically evil Captain
yeah,
America most of the time because because he is the Captain America that basically
so
not always he's sometimes most
in
times
much
most time he's a hit. He's kind of like an anti-hero, but he did originally appear as a villain rather than an anti-hero.
yeah, he's now more of a sort of a Punisher slash Batman type
Yeah,
character. Um, and in the Marvel universe itself, he was he,
I
he
could
was
agree.
he was kind of just he started off with kind of a little bit of an arsehole, really.
Yeah,
Well, not really, just more pompous
yeah,
because he was given the mantle of Captain America.
yeah. And then he took the
Um,
serum,
he
uh,
doesn't really become. Yeah, that's because he took serum.
and then
And
and
here's the
then
thing: it's a it's not the proper super soldier serum. It's a modern day byproduct, an experimental version, and it
and
seems that
and
everyone that's taken
as
that version
what was
so
it?
far went a bit nuts.
As what's his face says in Captain America, the serum doesn't like turn you into a super soldier. It just makes you more you, and that's
Mm.
the thing with the serum.
Well, this one in particular as well, though, everyone that we had seen take this particular batch did become fanatical towards something,
Yeah,
whatever it ended up being.
yeah, and
So,
he's a well. I actually, the thing, the biggest thing I technically have a kind of issue with the
no,
whole
so in
Captain
the
America winter.
MCU version, he did execute a guy with a shield. He
Yeah,
literally just slams Captain through a guy's face.
yeah, he beats the guy to death with the shield, and it's the fact that he does that. So in the rest of the show, he's not redeemable in the rest of the show, and then when he shows up in Thunderbolts, he's the only character that gets no character development. Everyone else gets character development, and I'm like, you actually. And then upon rewatch, I was like, you're the only character that didn't have any character development in this film. You have not redeemed yourself, and I don't get why people are suddenly glazing you as you've redeemed yourself for this film. And I'm like, because you had no character development. You are literally the same as you were at the end of Captain
Yeah,
America and the Winter Soldier TV series. You were.
but sometimes there's nothing wrong with it. Um,
There's nothing wrong with it, but the problem is that
uh,
I don't get where people are suddenly like, you know, glazing him and going, "Oh, he redeemed himself in this movie." And I'm like, he didn't. Uh,
Uh,
the part is that he used cap. It's part is that he basically he was meant to be Captain America, and Captain America doesn't kill people. That's the part that's bad for him.
well,
It's
well,
more of the.
you're
It's
not
not
well.
bad in
Look,
terms
look,
of what he did was bad. It's bad in terms of you just made a you're a hero that is essentially a at this point an arm of the U.S. government, and you have just killed someone on foreign soil
so,
without
so the difference between the times that Captain America has killed people in full battle is that in this case the guy was literally laying on the floor, um,
helpless
armless.
and
Yeah,
surrendering.
he could have been taken in. Yeah, so this, I
And the
mean,
guy was
it was an
surrendering, and there were just
execution.
people around him watching him
Yeah,
beat a guy that was defenseless to death. That had
yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the point there.
yeah, yeah. Cap does kill people,
And the idea was,
but it's
and the idea
no way
is
to
really,
utilize that shield.
it was kind of meant to show a mirror between the two different things
Yeah,
that the two different caps would do. You know, the Steve Rogers would have taken that guy in cuffs. This one would take him out.
yeah.
Um,
It was more of that he basically made America look bad in the middle of the whole thing, and
yeah,
so they took away the shield from him. To which he had a meltdown. Which I understand entirely why I did it. Like I have no thing why I did it. I understand entirely why it happened because it's he's taken the serum. He just watched his friend get shot, and at this point, and he's in a complete rage. Like he's just seeing red. But in front of all
yeah.
those civilians
Um,
you just that have just watched you take Captain America's shield and bash a dude to death and cut his head off, cut his head in half, basically smash his face in. Oh, while the guy is literally going, "I surrender, I surrender, please,"
yeah,
like begging for mercy
and,
as you
and
beat him to death is, oh crap, you've made an international incident.
and you've got to remember, in a narrative term as well, the idea is that they are turning the Falcon into Captain America like they do in the comic books, um,
Yeah,
and they kind of then needed to show that the, the the two different aspects of Captain America, one being how he acts, and the other one being how he can fight.
yeah,
Once they've been split over two different characters, which is the most important? Well, one they're showing is in the uniform and in with power that he has. That doesn't necessarily make you Captain America, but
yeah,
actually being the person that would, instead of acting out of anger, um, would act within mercy
yeah,
is kind of the thing they're looking for.
yeah. It's
I
the reason
completely,
Steve
yes. I
chose
mean,
him.
I mean,
Oh
you're
no, no
completely
one would
right.
debate that
Um,
we would not. We'd all in the same situation probably do the same thing.
yeah. But in this way, that's what they're trying to show that Captain America as a symbol, as a character, as
It's meant
a
to be.
person that is there. He's meant to hold a certain set of values, not necessarily a certain amount of power.
Yeah, it's a way of as bad as it sounds. It's I can't think of the words I was thinking of. But yeah, it's that he didn't show the value. He didn't in that scene. It's just a matter of it's the fact it's yeah. It's justified why he does what he does. It's just the optics of it for him for what he's just done on a world stage in front of a bunch of civilians that have got no other context other than watching him chase this guy down.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
who he is, what he's done.
yeah, because at this point, all the other people around in the street, all they see is this dude's run out of a street being chased by a guy wielding like Captain
I mean,
America's shield and wearing an outfit where it looked like Captain America, who then seems to beat this guy to the ground and then start beating him to death while he's begging for mercy.
100 and
There's no
100%.
terrorist attack or anything. They've just found their base. They don't understand. They have just seen him basically beat an innocent man to death, as far as they've seen.
Yeah, all these people don't. But you're right. Yes, in this case, he's one of the terrorist group.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's like
but
they've just watched him kill an innocent man. Like as
yeah,
far as the,
and yeah,
cause
so
that's the problem.
yeah,
It's the always the thing of was he what he did justified? Probably yeah. Was the optics of
but then
seeing it in the
the
point of
conversation then, but the conversation then comes later on when Walker and um, Wilson are together, and he's like, "Well, Pat would have just brought him in And the line from Walker is, "Well, I'm not Cat." Uh,
Yeah,
well, yeah, you were meant to be. Um,
yeah, you're meant to be. It's like, and it's and then him getting mad at them, getting mad because he got fired from being Captain America. Because
yeah. I mean, that was that was the other problem though with once again Brave New Worlds with the new Captain America is why the fuck would you put a non-super serum Captain America against a Hulk?
even with the
It makes no
even I go
sense.
with the vibrate, even though he's got the vibranium suit that's got because he's got his suit that he has made from Wakanda tech, from Black that's kind of given to him. I go, even though that suit is designed like vibranium is designed to absorb like the shocks and stuff, to set blast it back. There's no way he would survive. He would survive the force of the Hulk of the Red Hulk's punches. He'd be dead. He should be dead and
Well,
crippled.
he wouldn't survive the heat wave.
No.
So weirdly enough, Captain America did used to carry a gun. They phased it out in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like Batman
they
used to have a
brought
gun,
it back
remember?
for a short period. Yeah, but they phased it out. They did bring it back when after the death of Captain America, and he comes back as a Hydra agent. And every so often, I do believe the pistol does come back.
I,
But I
I,
haven't been reading the comic book
you know
regularly
who
enough
who I want to see if we get Chris Evans back in this in Doomsday, as is hinted that we're gonna get Chris Evans a little bit like the Nomad stuff of him of his. You know who I hope we get. I hope that one of the
I'd
other,
love to see
if we get the Secret
Captain
World
Hydra.
stuff, one of the other ones is the Hydra Empire one, just so we can have Stevel.
Yeah,
I want Stevel. Give me fucking Stevel. I want to see Stevel in film just because it'll be fun. So I'm
I've
going.
got to say, there is a lot of potential in these next films for some really good Easter egg hunting.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of like what they did in the Spider Verse films.
And in Multiverse Madness, there was a bunch of Easter eggs in that as well, references to various other stuff when they did stuff. I also,
It was,
I
but I
love,
mean,
I
what
love
you've got
Multiverse
in the
Madness.
Spider Verse films is
The
crazy.
Spider Verse film is brilliant. I'm excited for the third one. I will say the only problem I have with the thing is the actor for it is basically nearly shooting himself in the foot. And I don't know why he's doing it because he's really good as Miles Morales. Like he is legitimately no one
It's
else has been as good at.
mad.
And I'm like, and dude, why the fuck are you being a creep your fellow actresses and other actresses? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, just all you need to do is shut the fuck up and get paid.
Now, comics are more violent than the MCU. Trust me. Watching the first time Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's, reading the first time Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body. I'm going to fight the Scorpion. This will be simple. Oh crap! I killed him.
Oh, I'm telling you now, they did, if they did scene for scene some of the comic book stories in any of these movies, we would be only getting X rated. For one, I think Spider-Man Reign should be made into a special presentation film.
Can I say something
Um,
about
this,
the Venom
yeah,
movie? Venom 3
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
R rated. But did you notice the gore in some of those fucking scenes should have been an 18 or an R-rated movie? They got
Well,
away
no,
with it because
well,
of the
weirdly
way they
enough,
did
no.
it. They got away with it because of the way they cleverly used those creatures to get in the way of just only spraying the blood out.
Yeah, I mean, they really want that. To be fair, they were trying to go for a higher rating because remember it's technically they would have been in a better position if they went for an R rating, um, because more people go for it for the gruesome factor, which they wouldn't get from a lower rating. This is one of the reasons why um, Deadpool Wolverine were going for that rating. But what's interesting here is because gore and violence now have become so acclimatized in films, neither movie's original cuts got that rating. And for in particular, Ryan Reynolds, that pissed him off a bit. That's why you get so many fucks in that film, plus a cunt, because that automatically gets you an X rating in or an R rating in America. Um, in the UK, it got it at 15. Because no one cares here. Um, So yeah, it's quite funny, and that's the only reason why they. I mean, if they put more swear in it, they would have got away with it.
Oh yeah,
Violence doesn't get you anything nowadays, really,
no, it
unless you're
doesn't.
doing a hyper horror. But even then, that's usually down to drug use,
Oh yeah.
included with violence.
But
Um,
yeah, I will say this: I genuinely enjoyed all three Venom movies. Right? They're not amazing, but they're the only good thing out of the entire Sonyverse.
really are. I
They're the
was
only good
incredibly
movies.
disappointed.
I
The
finally
third
watched.
one disappointed me
I tried
in
to watch
so many
Craven.
ways.
I tried to watch Craven, and I kind of just turned
Oh,
it
it's so
off.
bad.
I
It is
turned it off.
so
I
bad.
can't watch Morbius. Like, I just can't because it doesn't. None of it, in my honest opinion, it doesn't work because there's no Spider-Man. Like most of the reason the whole thing doesn't work and kind of falls apart to me is there's no Spider-Man, which is the reason for all of these villains that they were trying to make heroes and anti-heroes. You know what I mean? In this universe,
Yeah.
it's the reason they become anti-heroes is because of Spider-Man. Like it's after
Well, I
years of
mean,
fight.
here's the
It's after
thing.
years of fighting. Like Venom doesn't redeem himself until him and Parker sort of eventually forgive each other. If you know what I mean. And
Well, I mean, even then, it's tentative until weird enough. It's not until majorly when Venom attaches to Flash for a period, then goes back to Eddie Brock,
mhm.
um, and it takes a different kind of psyche. And then, I mean, at that point, you've also got the anti Venom stuff. Then, and also in between all this, in particular, you've had a Venom single story in which the Venom symbiote attached to a young boy and dropped six pods off because it was giving birth, and then come back. So there was this whole weird arc of redemption, and shit for the Venom symbiote itself, and then all this stuff goes on. There are like tons of weird crap. Um, but what could have happened here
If I remember, sorry,
is if they'd actually started
if
to,
I just remember
yeah,
correctly, if I am remembering correctly, the whole
yeah,
reason Morbius exists. This might just be
yeah,
my head because remembering the Spider-Man cartoon and not the
yeah,
actual because I can't remember the comic origin fully for him. But Morbius's blood is the way that turns him into what turns him into Morbius is bat DNA because he was trying to find a cure
yeah,
um his disease, and the
yeah,
reason the DNA that he uses mixes with that he finds is the reason genetic what is it genetic recombination stuff is Spider-Man's blood is the fucking blood that he uses that allows him to get his the neogenics experiment the only successful
yeah.
neogenics person
Uh,
Spider-Man it's
so it's
his
the
blood that's
mutation. He notices the weird mutation that allows
mm-hmm.
an animal side and a human animal and human DNA to mix.
Yeah, but you
He
don't know
then
whose blood it
uses
belongs to initially when he finds it initially.
no,
But like
no.
that's why Morbius doesn't work because like
He,
he creates this thing and suddenly becomes a vampire, and I'm like, but he's missing the crucial part of this entire thing that in the comics is the
well,
reason why he
yeah,
gets his
his
powers is
in
the DNA
in
of
many
Spider-Man.
ways that doesn't matter. Yeah, but in many ways that doesn't matter. That is a detail that,
Mm.
in many other ways, could easily be
Oh yeah, no, it should be
waved
glossed
off.
over for most people.
The
But I would
big
agree.
and with that, Morbius is the only one that weird enough doesn't need a Spider-Man element. Um, but it would help, but that would work more with a Blade. To be fair, but they'd already decided that there was going to be this universe, and
Yeah.
Venom was the start of it.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you're doing Morbius, right, they did have a joke in there where he comes into a fight and he's like, I'm Venom. Like, one, how do you know who the fuck Venom is? Right?
Mhm.
Makes no sense. But if the story was, you've got this guy who's now fucked up his DNA, and he has seen that there is some in the news, there was some monster with this weird issue. He's like, well, maybe there's something there I can get.
Oh yeah. I think
Um,
I think
and so he goes after that.
yeah.
But then on the other side of it, there is this whole thing of people dying out there, which Eddie Brocker's heard about as a reporter.
Hmm.
So he goes after it until what he finds fucking vampire.
From my honest opinion,
And they fight.
I think Morbius should not. They should not have attempted to make Morbius. I think what like what Crim said about the Hulk, where the Hulk should be the antagonist of his own movie. That's what the Morbius movie should have been. We should have been watching a villain origin story. To have maybe like if so, I want to keep this in. If you want to make Venom your star, make him your anti-hero, your hero of your Sony Spider-Man-less Sonyverse.
Yeah.
Morbius should have been a villain's origin story, and so should Craven. Not try and make them anti-heroes, make them the villains, and then you're gearing up these villains that people go, oh, I'm getting to watch the villains film where I watch the film from the bad guy's perspective rather than the good guy's perspective.
Yeah.
And then you're getting
and weirdly
them
enough,
show up in the Venom films fighting Venom and having Venom being the hero to take them down. And then you're getting this cool little thing.
Well, weirdly enough, if you had it like that, like I said, it was you have your Venom films, and then for whatever reason you set the story up that but Venom and Morbius are now looking for each other, like an enemy at the gates type situation. They find each other, realise, Morbius realises there's nothing that Venom can do to help. He's not. It's not a human thing. It's an alien thing with a human. It's not going to do his problem any better.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie and Venom realise the person that's killing all these people out there isn't Morbius,
Nope.
but someone still is, and that's when you realise there's been another vampire all along, or whatever the thing is that they go after is there. Boom, that's their thing. Then when Craven comes in as the hunter of hunters, he's been watching this shit as well, and he's noticed that there is a big freaking monster out there, and also some kind of weird vampire thing out there. I've not hunted them.
I want to hunt them.
I bet I could, though.
And then
it doesn't matter who's a good guy or who's a bad guy in any of those films, because they're just being their own characters.
Yeah, but it's just because they tried to make, in my opinion, because they tried to make Morbius a hero, and Morbius only works as a hero, in my honest opinion, years after he's been battling Spider-Man trying to fight his hunger, and it's because it's when he meets Blade. Blade is one of the catalysts that makes Michael realize that he shouldn't be a villain because Blade tries to hunt him, and it's Blade that shows him how to helps him control his hunger eventually, if I remember correctly, because Blade's the one that finally helps him reluctantly.
Weirdly enough, it's interactions with actually two other vampires, which is kind of really important with Mobius' story. One is Blade, the other is Dracula.
Yes. That man owns me money.
Marvel owns their own Dracula.
Yes, they do.
And yeah, it's so. And it'd be weird and interesting to see how they would ever be able to pull that off, because technically they do own their own Dracula, distinct from the Universal Monsters Dracula. Well, yeah, but I mean, in movie that is the Universal monster set. So yeah, it's like I say, very interesting. And they haven't used that idea yet, but it is available. But yeah, like I say, there's no reason to make all these people good guys bad. There was no reason to make him. I get it. I get why they made him an animal conservationist, because there is an element of that in his comics.
Mm-hmm. Well, but
he is still a hunter.
Yeah, he's a hunter, and he hunts the strongest. And it's the thing with Craven as well, like not with Craven, not Craven, but with Venom. Like, as much as this joke is funny, and I like the joke, I still think it's a disservice to the character of when Venom is first talking to Eddie, going, "On my world, I was kind of a loser," and I'm like, but we've never really had that in the comics. Like the Clintar whole thing was. And also the whole Clintar being like, they're here to consume the worlds and everything. And I'm just sat there going, but when we've now had in the comics and know that the symbiotes aren't technically world consumers, they're actually world defenders generally in the comics. Like, I know at the point when Null has control of the symbiotes are the dark side, and they devour worlds. That's what they do under his control. But I mean, current modern day Clintar, which is the symbiotes, they're the Space Knights. They protect the universe.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's something that kind of had got skipped over a little bit
Yeah.
In things, but modern day law, at least, or at least for a couple of decades, is the whole reason Venom is the way Venom is, and the way what basically all the Earth symbiotes are the way they are, is originally inherently down to how fucked up humans are. Venom, uh, when he was on Peter Parker, really he was going through emotions and found a really powerful one, which was Peter Parker's anger and resentment to all the crap that's happened in his life, and that got boosted within him, and and when it went to Eddie Brock, the second human, the most powerful thing he had in him was his anger and resentment for Peter Parker. Um, so these were
It was
the
his
most
anger and
dominant.
resentment towards not only Peter, but Spider-Man, and then finding out both of them were one and the same.
These things. So that's what corrupted that symbiote. And then the next one, and if it had gone on to someone like Captain America, it would have been a different thing.
Yeah.
And then its first offspring. So with all because these things have a weird link as well to the thing they are before. Its first offspring that comes out
Doesn't just
lands
bond.
on well, no, before it does the whole full bonding thing, when it just does the normal thing that it does with Peter Parker and Eddie Brock.
Mm-hmm.
This is Carnage, and it goes straight on to a freaking serial killer.
Yep. And
And not only does it have the muscle memory from its original
mm-hmm.
being Venom, that anger and resentment are these great things. Murder, death, and chaos.
Yeah. And Cletus Cassidy, even in the Venom 2, we are never going to get the Cletus Cassidy that we got in the comic when he first shows up, because the fucking comic when he first shows up is terrifying, actually.
So
Because they were not
yes, I
holding
mean
back
here's,
when they
here's
showed. We went, yeah, we're going to give a symbiote to a serial killer, and then the spates of killings that happened afterwards were just like, what the fuck have you
here
done,
is
Marvel?
the really upsetting thing.
I want
Now,
Cletus.
with I love Cletus. Um, Woody Harrelson as Cletus is
Mm-hmm.
perfect casting.
Oh, he is. He's brilliantly
Um,
cast as Cletus.
yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with that film, and this is what upsets me:
It's
is
not an R-rated film.
they got it. It's not that. It's just they got it wrong. Um, if now here's the problem: if you watch Natural Born Killers, that
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what that film needed to be. It should have been about him and uh, I can't remember her name now.
Siren.
Green Siren going on a killing spree across America while they're trying to fucking catch these serial killers. Um, and we didn't get that. That's fine. The worst thing for me though, especially knowing the character and knowing what should have happened, and the fact they had the perfect actor to play the perfect character of it all, was the whole linchpin of it all was Cletus Cassidy's love for this woman. No, no. In every version, if Cletus Cassidy thought something was going to stop him from being the most ultimate killer, even no matter how much he loved it, you know what he would do? Kill it.
Well, except in the relationship in that movie is canon. It's from the Deadpool versus Carnage comics. It is established that him and her are a thing and have been a thing for years.
Yes.
And he actually,
It
at
was
the end
also
of
in
that
the next.
comics, regret actually gets is actually broken at the end of that comic because Deadpool makes him kill her.
Mm.
If you forget that part, he Deadpool
It
broke him by
actually
making him
goes.
kill her.
But you see, this relationship does go back longer back because during the Maximum Carnage storyline,
Mm-hmm.
um, and in the Clone Wars storyline, there was those two were together then. Um, and even then, when she got in the way, even if he'd give her a slap and he would just go off and do his own thing. Like, you're my, you want to be a problem? You're not my problem. I'm not. He wouldn't have let her get in the way of whatever he wanted to do. Even if that put her in harm's way. I mean, more than once he did just bug her off. Especially when they first bought the mutant version of Spider-Man that fires out the barbed wire. It then becomes her pet. Basically, it falls in love with her. And becomes her pet guardian thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but I know that. But unlike Venom, Cletus and Carnage are not two separate beings anymore. They
No,
are
they
one.
become fully bonded.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
because
become fully
that's
bonded.
why Cassidy never says we anymore. They say I. They both say I rather
Yeah,
than we, and it's like, oh crap, this because their bond is deep. Because the only person that Venom ever had as deeper bond with, ironically, is Peter. Not even Eddie has as deep a bond as Peter does with the symbiote. But Venom and Eddie both
oh no,
rely on
that's
each
not
other.
true anymore. That's not true. That's not been true for a very long time now.
But then we have
So in the Venom singles, uh, there's been a whole long running storyline, very similar to how so there was a whole thing very similar to how Venom 3 ends. In many ways, there was a big battle with multiple symbiotes, and
mhm.
Venom became the prime symbiote with,
Yeah, because he killed
he
Null.
took over Null.
Because
Uh,
in that comic is Eddie loses Venom to his son because Eddie gets killed, and
yeah,
then Null fights Eddie's son, who basically nearly kills Eddie's son, and at that point
yeah,
Eddie is resurrected by Venom basically, and it's the Kodak thing, which is actually a comic thing from, and it's the point where Venom and Eddie become so bonded that they're strong enough to beat Null, because it's Venom
yeah.
purified of Null's influence. Finally,
And basically now from this point is where we now get another. We've now got multiple versions of Venom basically out
yeah,
there, but every cell that um, Eddie Brock has is also now a Venom cell.
yeah.
Basically,
There was
it's a DNA bonding at a level past what Cletus actually has,
yeah.
which is just flat DNA bonding.
I still hate that they teased anti Venom at the end of Venom 2, and then in Venom 3 we didn't even get anti Venom.
No, but what we did get, and it's been vindication for years.
Hmm.
There is a symbiote called Toxin. He was the second, and everyone forgot this motherfucker because it was a leak in the village.
Oh no,
So
we got Toxin in the film. We got Toxin finally to show up
yeah,
again.
I know he
But
did. I know he
we
did. But
also
in the
got, is
comic
it
book, he
Agony and
disappeared.
Scream, which made me happy. We got Agony and Scream
Yeah,
both showed up, and I was like, yes, we got the rest of the Life Foundation symbiotes basically show up. Because everyone forgets
yeah,
Riot isn't a solo symbiote; he's meant to be part of the 5 Life Foundation symbiotes.
yeah. But in this case, so Toxin was an old character that actually just disappeared, and it's very hard to find any reference to his early
Mm.
appearances. To the point where when I was at secondary school and I was talking about this, people thought I was bullshitting. I was like, no, no, there's a green one, and he can turn into gas. And they're like, no. I was like, yes. The character did come up recently again before these films, that's why it was used because of a popular thing. But um, yeah, and the reason it was great is because there's actually progression in abilities. So Venom, if you look, Venom has the tendrils, but
Hmm.
anything he can't fire projectiles or anything like that. His tendrils cannot leave his body. Whereas Cletus
Well,
Cassidy, who can make the blades, can also fire um,
yeah.
those out as
I
missiles
will admit one
to an
joke in
extent.
2 did make me laugh. One joke in 2 does make me laugh. And it's the,
What's that?
oh shit, that's a red one. We are dead. We
Yeah,
are dead. Come on, I will let you eat it. Really? Really? Oh yeah!
that was actually very fun.
I love that
Um,
fucking scene of the red one. It's just like, it's a red one, shit! It's just like, yeah, I know it is, because that means it's got weapons.
uh, the
Uh,
secret was
yeah, oh yeah, it's one of the retcons.
yeah, it's a very yeah.
It's one of the
Um,
retcons to the original Secret Wars. Because technically, the original Secret Wars is also technically the ending of the original Marvel universe, the one from the '60s era to the one that we had for
yeah,
till the early 2000s, and then the Secret Wars that we've just had a couple of years back, about 10 years ago now, I think it is,
yeah,
was the Doom Secret Wars, which is what we're getting in Avengers Doomsday, basically, as far as I am concerned. Because Doom's the bad guy, we're getting that one, which means we're getting the end of this film will be Battleworld, which I hope
yeah.
it is because I really want to see Battleworld. I really want to see this whole. I hope that if it is Battleworld at the end, I hope the final scene in Doomsday, right? If it is Battleworld, is like a scene showing us all the different, like, like parts of different Earths stitched together, and you're getting like little glimpses into other universes that we.
Yes, it is considered
Yeah,
an alternate universe thing. It's not canon to the main timeline as we
yeah,
have it at the minute.
yeah. Because because we know the canon reason for Venom's, like, not insanity but complete hyper aggression was because Venom fed off Parker's anger when he
Yeah.
was, because it was,
Basically, it's humans. They're not really meant to bond with humans, as it were.
well,
We
yeah,
are an anomaly.
we're an anomaly. Well, yeah, it's the human emotions are far, apparently were a lot more stronger than other species they'd bonded with prior to humans.
Yeah.
So they kind of rather it kind of overtook Venom, and he basically started feeding on anger rather than what they were supposed. Rather than being a symbiote, he was feeding on Peter Parker's anger, which is why Parker nearly kills one of his villains in that point, and then has to, and in ends up on the church trying to get the suit
There
off.
is actually a great. I think it's just called Deadpool Secret Invasion. I don't think it's a secret invasion like that. But very much like Secret Wars, this was one of the big events in the Marvel comic universe in which we find out tons of the heroes that we've been reading for about a year have actually
Oh yeah,
been scrolls in disguise.
it's
Um,
Deadpool's
but
part of the secret. What he's doing during Secret Invasion, isn't it?
yeah, the Deadpool part is he gets caught just like the others to be copied over, but he's like, oh no, I'll not only can I will let you copy me, I will train the person. Um, and they're like, okay, right, fair enough. We'll see how this goes. So they
I'm gonna go. It goes
by
poorly
by
as
act
hell.
by acts of Deadpool, instead of cloning one scroll Deadpool, they clone an army of scroll Deadpools. And they're like, well, not only are these all these scrolls indestructible, um, but they're all trained assassins. This is fantastic. That we can actually just take over the earth with these. To which Deadpool then says, yeah, just one small problem. They're all very vain homicidal maniacs that like chimichangas, to which Logan goes, chimichangas. And he says, and he just turns around and says, the last one alive gets all the chimichangas and walks out of the room. To which an entire army of Deadpools
Just kill each other.
kill each other whilst completely destroying an entire Skrull clone base, which is actually why they can't make any more of the clone for the rest of the series.
Deadpool just being Deadpool. I still love the fact that the other voice in his head, and like the one that appeared suddenly that had yellow caps that was always a bit crazier, wasn't actually
Oh,
his voice. It was another
well,
fucking
weirdly enough,
supervillain for one point.
yeah, well, weirdly enough, that's another thing he points out is that, oh, I think by now they've all started to hear the other voice.
What other voice? That
Um,
one. I love the fact that this guy is invented just to purely explain why why Deadpool is sometimes super serious and sometimes a complete goofball. The goofball is just another villain that's in his head that's kind of that's in charge this time. Whereas the super serious
he's,
version of him is just, this is Wade. He's a sarcastic twat, but he's super serious. But he knows how to get shit done. This is Madcap.
well,
He does
yeah,
stupid shenanigans every 5 minutes.
well, yeah. That's in a couple of the Deadpool Kills comics and the Killer Strike comics, you do sort of get
Yeah, like when he kills the
this
Marvel
whole side
universe,
element.
where
Yeah,
all the other voices get where that what is it the Tinkerer tries, is it not Tinkerer, what's his name, the little brain dude tries to basically erase Wade's mind and instead erases all the other personalities except one, and then when Wade asks him what that voice just replies to him, I ate them all.
yeah. Well, yeah. So it turns out he has got this weird something, and yeah, in one
And
of the
that
comics, it
Deadpool then
is
gets killed by the original, because that Deadpool became the bad guy. And I love the fact that we finally got that Deadpool storyline ends with Deadpool kills Deadpool, where we have the 616 Deadpool having to fight that Deadpool that's like, I've killed loads of shit all these universes before. Yours is next. It's like, nope, you ain't not killing mine. Because
um
Deadpool is fucking terrifying. Because it's Wade
very
without any humor and just I'm gonna kill you because it's what needs to happen.
just dry. It's gone. Yeah, he's had enough of being the comedy fool.
And
Um,
it's like
I mean,
I'm scared of this version
and
of you.
the kills are so good.
Oh yeah, like the trapping Kitty Pryde
Um,
in the fucking never-ending box, mirror box.
yeah, but I mean, Harry takes out Wolverine, and Draken and X-23.
Well,
Um,
well, yeah, Draken
Darkin,
X-23
sorry.
permanently sets them on fire, so whenever they regenerate, just sets them on fire again, deliberately to lure Wolverine in, and then just stabs him with the blade that you can't regenerate from.
Yeah. Carves him up. Uh, Harry takes out Luke Cage was hilarious.
Oh yeah, your
With
skin
the
might be
micro
indestructible, but
bombs.
oh yeah, yeah, and he takes out the Avengers, and then it's like, oh yeah, you. I did wonder how to take out the guy with indestructible skin, but you Avengers sure do drink a lot of coffee.
Mhm.
Bang! Luke explodes from the inside.
Uh,
It's like, oh
but
shit.
then in the second, but even then, some harrowing kills as well. I mean, even in the second one, when
Um,
he kills off Fantastic Four,
the people,
and
a lot of people complain about the way he kills Spider-Man, but I'm like, it's because at this point Wade has absolutely no intention. Like there is no like,
I,
ma-
genius
there's no
as well.
malice,
Though
nothing to it.
the only reason you survive is popularity.
No, that's Logan's one. He goes, I figured out what your superpower is, Logan. It's not regeneration, it's
That's it.
popularity, as he skews him with the blade. Spider Man's one is
No,
just,
yeah,
it's what all these other
it's
villains should have
trauma.
just done is, what all these other villains should have just done is just used a gun. Because it's the way
Yeah,
he does it is just point
shoots
blank,
him in the
because
head.
he's not even like thinking about killing him. He just walk, because this point of Wade is just, I know I'm going to kill you, no matter what. So I'm not even thinking about my next move or even my next move prediction. People, his fighters would have told him he didn't think Wade was a threat.
Yeah,
He didn't think Wade was a threat. It's
it's so good. I mean,
it's like it's a whole thing in like in Spider-Man's comics. Like people do not seem to. Alpha's power is precog. It is precog. The Spider Sense is precognition. It is actually a precognition, but it's a precognition based on Parker's own
danger. Yeah,
sense of danger. If he doesn't think he's in danger because it's Deadpool, he never takes him seriously, and he knows, and Deadpool's obsessed with him, as far as Peter knows, because there is the whole bromance between those two.
yeah,
But like he never takes him seriously, and it's straight up. He's not. He'd never kill me. Bang. Because Parker doesn't see him as a
yeah.
threat, so he doesn't see that he doesn't get the whole precog of he's going to shoot me in the head. Because to him, Wade's
There is
not a
also
threat.
the other element of it is that it's also his mind is so fractured. It's not something that can be technically predicted.
No,
I mean, that's
it's like
kind of
the ending of it where when he's about to go into where Man Thing's about to kill him, and then Man Thing basically reads his mind and realizes what has to happen, and
well, I
then
mean, so
and then
no, I mean,
Tony
it's not the
shows
man
up,
thing. It's
Taskmaster shows up, and he's like starts mimicking him, and it's like. And because what's Tony Master's thing? It's not when he mimics you, he knows all your moves. He starts to know what you're thinking, and that's the problem. He suddenly understands why Deadpool's doing everything, and then breaks down.
yeah, it's once again that it is a great bit because yeah,
Hmm.
his they say his power is to he starts to clone everything, not
Hmm.
only just their moves but their mindset. It helps a bit.
Yeah.
And then when you start getting that voice that tells you that you're not actually real, you're just part of this make believe. And I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the best part of those because he doesn't, at that point, Deadpool doesn't have to kill him
No,
because,
he just does it himself.
well, no, it's not that. It's that even if you turn around and look at Man Thing, you can't be in the presence of Man Thing and fear.
Yep.
Um, because otherwise Man Thing will destroy you. So he was already cornered at that point.
Yeah. And then Man Thing
Um,
opens the portal, and then it's Deadpool illustrated. Then the other one, and then it's Deadpool kills. I do like the end. So what if we have him kill the writers? It's just him going to kill the fucking writers as they're making the comic, and I'm like,
yeah,
well
there was.
played, well played, well played at the end of this.
I mean, the other one was the killing of the X Men as well.
Oh yeah.
He's like because that's the other thing. So in one of the reasons he goes back to Xavier, one of the reasons in that first book is because um, the X Men actually arrest Deadpool,
Mhm.
And Charles Xavier decides that I ain't even going to bother trying to help him anymore. We're just going to send him to this madhouse, or this psychiatrist, who ends
Mhm.
up being a mad professor
Yeah.
and fucks up Deadpool's brain. So he's like, so when he's back with Professor X, he's like, right, now, Baldy, read my mind and tell me exactly what's gone wrong. And he reads his mind. He's like, oh, he's like, now I want you to say something for me. I want you to say, I want you to put your hands on your head and say, to me, my X-Men.
Mhm.
And when he finally tortures him enough to do it, it's
It's brutal how all
yeah,
like Kitty being trapped in the cube that's basically all mirrors in an endless like not like different angles, so that it's just she never knows which way is down.
well, it's an actual it's an actual tesseract. So
Yeah, he locks her in a
not the
tesseract. So
one
she,
from not one from the movies. Yeah,
yeah, it's a tesseract, so she can't
a
escape because
scientific.
she
Yeah,
doesn't know which way is out. And it's
yeah.
like
So
that is a
a
horrifying way for
scientific
somebody whose
version.
power
Yeah,
for with her power to be trapped for the rest of her life because she's got no way out for anything.
yeah. So scientifically, a real tesseract is a cube within a cube,
Hmm.
um, which would technically be an influence, some kind of influence. But I don't truly understand it.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
but yeah, but
not
yeah.
necessarily a big
Deadpool
blue
Kills the
cube with
Marvel
big
Universe is
power.
one of the most brilliant comics. I have it next to me. I love it.
I have Illustrated, and Deadpool kills Deadpool. Um, Illustrated is hilarious.
Especially Sherlock Holmes chasing him in H.G. Wells' time machine. That's what I love about it. It's Sherlock Holmes chasing Deadpool in H.G. Wells' time machine.
There is a lot of shit going on in those books.
It's a lot of shit. It's just killing. He kills Alice from Alice in Wonderland, the White Rabbit, the Red Queen. It's like, yep, I'm just killing every fucker from all these. These are all the things that basically invented the Marvel universe. Like, I like that it's also Marvel being self-aware. So, yeah, it's like it's Marvel being self-aware that we know our heroes are based on these old folk tales and these old stories. We know that all our heroes are a modern interpretation of these stories, like the modern like equivalent of folk tales essentially. And I like that it's them being self-aware to know enough to know that that's what superheroes are. They are the modern folk
Yeah,
tales.
I mean, not so much that. I mean, in essence, all comic book characters are modern retelling of the Greek god pantheons.
Yeah,
You know, um, there is a reason they look the way they do and act the way they do.
yeah.
So
That's what. Yeah, she gets trapped in Crimson. Is a yeah. Basically, that's what she does to Kitty Pryde. So she has no way of how to get out, and it's like, it's like if what is it? Who's it that gets put in a permanent acid bath?
um, I that was Magneto
That was it. Yeah, permanent acid
in the
baths.
cube of acid.
Yeah, and then there's oh god, all the heroes and villains that like suddenly kill themselves. Why? Because Deadpool took control of his the doll maker and made him make dolls of all the fucking heroes and
Got hold
villains.
of the Puppet Master,
That's it, Bone
which
Master,
was an old Fantastic Four villain.
and going to make things of all. Oh my god, the Fantastic Four scene though is still one of the best. I agree with you on that one. It's just the fact
Yeah.
that Sue just goes. It's the fact that he kills Johnny, then Ben, then Reed, and then Sue just pops his head.
But no, so Johnny manages to escape in the portal with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but the navigation was off, so no one knows where they went.
Mm-hmm.
Ben's been completely turned to rubble. Um, Reed's
Reed.
been killed. Can't remember how.
He got basically stretched
And
out.
Sue,
He got turned into like proper full on stretched out, where he could not, where
Sue
he was unable to
loses her.
untangle himself to put
Yeah,
himself back together.
yeah, well, Sue loses her freaking mind and just puts a small force field inside his brain and then expands it like an embolism
Yep, and
and
just
bursts his
boom.
head.
And
And thinks,
she thinks she's killed him,
yep, and then he gets back up.
and he's like, you know, you should do when someone you shouldn't what you shouldn't do is turn your back to someone who has regeneration. Bang.
Yeah.
Oh my
There'll
god.
be so many, and it is great. I mean,
The Punisher trying to take him
all
out,
my
and then he turns up behind the Punisher. It's like, hi, Frank.
hi
Bang.
Frank, and he's got the little puppet of Frank Castle. He's
Yeah.
like, I asked him to just make me one more toy, a special edition, and you look on the floor, and it's a copy of Galactus. It's like, oh, now he's got Galactus under control.
Isn't he just throws the Punisher one out the window so Frank immediately just jumps out the window or something? I can't remember what happens to Frank.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think Frank shoots himself. I know all the others jump off the rooftop.
Yeah,
They get
he makes
thrown
them
off.
all just jump off the roof.
Yeah,
He's just like, I am
and
killing every fucker. I don't give a shit at this point. I'm done.
it's like Nick Fury, Deadpool, Daredevil,
Hmm.
the Kingpin, all these heroes and villains on top of this roof, and they just all jump off. Um,
It is a
it
brutal
is
comic.
dark.
It is dark, but it's fun. It's really funny because that's why it's dark. That's why it's really fun because it's just such a dark way of going. Yeah, so we're doing the What If comics again, and we're gonna do. I still miss. I'm gonna go on a thing about the game. I am still disappointed that they turned the What If show into a series of actual into an actual series with an end story and plots at the end of it,
Yeah.
instead of just sticking to being an anthology show where every episode was something different. Because they had some
See,
really good.
I don't mind it. So,
There's had some really good episodes in between.
yeah,
We had some really good episodes. We had, what was it? We had the Gamora one with Gamora, and we finally got the Gamora and Tony Stark one, didn't we? Where they, of how they,
yeah,
yeah, we got the zombies one, which spawned a whole series off it, which we both have disagreements of how that
yeah,
series ended, because
yeah.
I'm convinced I'm right, and you're convinced you're
Okay,
hoping that I'm right because you don't like
yeah,
what you got at what you think has happened.
yeah.
um, but um, but in regards to it, like the zombie one, we got the 10-6, the 16, the 1806, this the 1602 episode
1606, yeah, 1606, yeah.
annoys me, and you know why it annoys me.
Because it's not what we were looking forward to.
No, I wanted 1602. 1602 is one of my favorite little collection of comics. I have all of the 1602 comics, including
Yeah.
the specific ones around sets of heroes. And I really
Here's the
love
thing.
that storyline. Is
I
so
liked an
nice.
anthology that had a story at the end where all the main characters come back. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
But by the time I got to the third series, where it was really just this crappy hodgepodge of trying to get one story together in a
yeah.
bunch of weird shit, didn't make sense.
I will admit I did like that we got Infinity Ultron back in the last series again, just because I really love that
Yeah.
storyline. That was brilliant. What if Ultron got the Infinity Stones was just a perfect we're getting a Marvel Rivals skin of that Ultron with
I'm not surprised
his
that they're doing more
MVP
with that.
animation. By the way, for Marvel, his MVP animation in Marvel Rivals is the scene
Yeah.
where he gets all the stones and then summons the army of Ultron clones to go wipe out the universe.
Nice.
I'm like, yes, you gave us the best way of doing this, guy. I'm like, please give us more of these what if costumes because I don't mind the what if costumes. They're fucking brilliant. I love seeing the.
Very good.
I love Infinity Ultron. Infinity Ultron is brilliant because he's not only a villain in there, he's a villain in the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 fighting game. He's one of the villains in that one. He's also one of the villains in one of the other Marvel, I think, one of the other Marvel crossover games. Like, he's the villain in quite a few stuff because he is a decent enough villain to be because Ultron with all the crossovers. Because in MVC 3, I believe it is, or is MVC 4, the last one they did, it's him mixed with one of the Capcom equivalent of Ultron. I forget who he is, from the Mega Man series. I forget
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah.
I've
They
literally got
they
his
get merged
model
together and they
behind the
start
TV.
merging the two universes. While
Sigma.
search, yeah,
Sigma.
Yeah, it's Ultron Sigma, and I'm like, this is just cool. I like the fact that we're getting both two Ultron. We're getting Ultron and the other basically Ultron combined, and then they're
Yeah.
both using the Infinity Stones to basically corrupt heroes and shit. I'm like, this is just a cool idea. Like a cool. I like silly stories like this. Like because MVC2 was Galactus was the big bad, basically destroying the Earth for both Earths at the same time because they've been merged as one and stuff. But yeah, I like Infinity Ultron as a villain because he's like just a Ultron with the Infinity Stones is just generally unhinged. But
Yeah.
I just love Ultron as a villain anyway because as we've said, I love original OG Ultron is my favorite. The MC Ultron, I really really do hope the rumors are true that he'll be in Vision Quest because I really would love to see him back and actually have the threat that he has not been destroyed like he was at the end of Age of Ultron.
So,
I want Ultron back
so
because Ultron needs to be a
as I understand it, so far,
because he was meant to be in Armor Wars.
um, all of the AI voices we have seen throughout the Marvel universe so far connected to Stark
Hmm.
will have a physical representation in this series, but it's looking more like their human version. So, when you hear Ultron speaking, it's going to not only sound like James Spader, but it's actually going to look like James Spader within the virtual world that the Vision is living in. So he's going to be meeting Friday. He's going to be meeting Ida. He's going to be meeting um, Jarvis, and also Ultron.
Oh yeah, we know with the Vision Quest
And
thing.
like I say,
The Vision Quest thing.
as for,
We know we're
as
getting
for whether or
Jocasta.
not they're going to be in
Jocasta is a bit
yeah,
about is on there, so we know we're getting Jocasta, which is technically Ultron's girlfriend and also Machine Man's girlfriend because it's a weird
yeah.
thing with those three. I do wonder if we'll get Machine Man as well. Though the Wonder Man trailer just gives me hope because I really love the Wonder Man trailer. The fact they're doing it, like, yeah, this is we're not doing this as a hero. We're doing this as just a studio film. This is a studio about a superhero that isn't actually a superhero. Like, it's just so brilliant because we know the original is the other way around, and it's a guy that becomes a superhero after playing a superhero on TV. And this it's a guy in this universe making a TV show about superheroes in a world where superheroes actually exist. And I really like the idea behind it.
Um,
The Wonder Man trailer.
we'll see where
Was
this goes. I'm going to be interested to see where this goes because
oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting
I
where it
can,
goes.
I, I think they are looking for a new powerhouse that could replace
I
the
can smell
Hulk in
burning
films.
toast.
Okay, that's not good.
No, actually, it's fine. It's downstairs.
Okay. I mean, I really do think they are looking for a powerhouse character that can replace the Hulk. And the ultimate version of Wonder Man is that, but very CGI heavy. Um, but I'm wondering if they are going to do a bit of a reverse in this. And whereas instead of, because in the comic books, he was a movie star, becomes a villain. Stuntman becomes a villain, loads of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then there is a change to how he becomes the Wonder Man that we know today with the big purple form. Um, but part of all of that is that him and Hank Pym, aka Ant Man, make the first Ultron.
Mhm.
And then later, they use all of these things again and cycles along with Ultron to make Vision. And there is a reason why Vision has an attraction to Scarlet Witch, because at the time, Scarlet Witch and Wonder Man were married.
Mhm.
And that's where that weird love triangle comes from in the comic. Um, so I'm wondering if something that we're going to see in Vision Quest or in um,
Well, unfortunately for
Ultraman is going to be him getting his powers from Vision instead of him giving his powers to Vision.
you mean Wonder Man,
Yeah, what did
Ultraman's
I
a
say?
Superman villain,
Okay, yeah, I meant Wonder Man. No, you know.
but yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things. Is I'm excited. I want to watch Vision Quest because I generally love the other two shows that came out of WandaVision. I actually love we got Wiccan because I love having more mutants in the MCU, and I love because he's a mutant slash
And,
witch. I love him. I love
and we
Wanda's two
are
children.
getting Wiccan. We are getting Wiccan and Speed in
Yeah,
this series.
I can't wait to get Speed because we know at the end of Agatha all along, which really should have been Wiccan all along, but Agatha all along. We know at the end that his brother woke up because we get the little glimpse of
Yeah.
him waking up, and I'm like, I really can't wait for this because we're getting Speed and Wiccan, which is brilliant because it means we've now got three official like named mutants besides the ones we saw in She-Hulk. Okay,
Well, this is interesting because at the moment they're not technically cast as mutants. So, um, uh,
correction, Miss Marvel is classed as a mutant because that was the whole reveal at the end of the Miss Marvel
yeah, no,
show.
no. So Wiccan, so far they've explained his powers as being the chaos powers that his mother got from the um, Infinity Stone being inherited down.
Oh yeah,
Um, and I think that's going to and I think that's how they're going to explain Speed getting his powers because of whatever Wiccan did. So those two, at the moment, have
I,
not been confirmed as mutants. Kamala Khan is so far, I believe,
the only
only actually
besides
confirmed
Mr.
mutant
Yeah,
in the
confirmed
MCU.
mutant. Besides, we know Mr. Immortal's a mutant because that's his fucking mutant power is immortality. And
But
what's his?
he hasn't.
We
He's
haven't
not
been
been in a
called.
Marvel film yet.
Yes, he's in the She-Hulk.
Oh, of course, yeah,
He's the
yeah,
client that she
yeah. I
has to
had no,
represent against all the women. And I'm like, Mr. Immortal, what the hell? And then also when she goes to the retreat with Emil,
yeah.
initially the first time, um, Swordsman is technically a mutant. Uh,
But well, once again,
they're not
I don't.
confirmed as them officially, but those three
Yeah.
characters, unless they confirm otherwise, are technically all actually mutant characters.
I mean, at the moment, Swordsman, I would put in the same level as um, Hawkeye um, and Kate Bishop. These are just highly trained people.
Oh yeah, but to be
Um,
fair, we've not seen Swordsman actually fight because we don't know if he has his superhuman reflexes that he gets from being a mutant. That because that is his mutant power,
well,
superhuman
in
reflexes.
in the fights that we have seen, he's just been a swordsman. Because we have seen stuff in the King in Daredevil Born Again because they had those
Hmm.
CCTV clips that Kingpin shows him,
Oh yeah,
and in um, the Hawkeye TV series as well, we saw a few fights. I mean, he's just a very competent sword fighter. It seems.
oh yeah. But but it's like in Hawkeye I was mostly and Echo. I actually liked Echo. Wasn't the best, but I actually kind of liked Echo after watching it.
Wasn't the best, but it was quite good.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I don't mind that they gave her powers because technically Echo originally in the comics doesn't have powers. She's just originally is just like she just is very highly skilled. I don't mind them giving her a bit the powers they've given her and like changing the character a little bit because they're establishing that this version of Echo is different than the comics version.
Yes, and also you've got to remember they were. This has now all been cancelled, but they were doing this whole lineage of the
Mm-hmm.
new character from What If, who had that blue light power. It was all
Kahani.
meant to be this yeah, it was all going to be this lineage going through to Echo, and you're going to be seeing more from this lineage line, and that there's actually something special about her,
I
which
actually
we didn't
liked.
go into.
I
I'm not
like
think
that new character. Kahori is one of the few new
I just,
characters in What If that universally most people loved her because she was just this
yeah,
like they did a unique thing with the character.
yeah, but they just didn't do anything more with that storyline. Things got cancelled, things got moved around, bits got cut.
That and the second time we saw her
So
after seeing her in the
nothing else
first
came
story,
out.
because the first story she was in was brilliant. The second story she's in is the beginning of the fucking end of the of that season, where it's
Yeah,
you know Strange, where it's Sinister Strange becoming a bad guy again, just after the first season where he'd learned that he didn't that he'd learned at the end of the first season not to do this stuff, and then suddenly his
yeah.
character gets unwritten in the second season to start to become a bad guy again, and I was just like. That was my biggest betrayal in that season because, like, why did you make him a bad guy again when in the first series it's very clear at the end of the first series when you established that Sinister Strange that had learned his lesson to not try and recreate
Well,
his universe.
here's the other problem with the what ifs. Um, its main purpose in the comic books was to show you something that you wouldn't to make it was meant to be like a preview, something you would never normally see. But
Mm-hmm.
if it got really popular, you might get a couple of extra stories. You might get a mini series,
Yeah,
and that's why it worked with perfectly for the Marvel Zombies. But that's what we should have got. We should have got all of these great random crossovers that Marvel actually has licenses for, so it wouldn't be a problem.
I mean we
Putting
got
those in
Pacific
there.
Rim.
One of we got, well, yeah, we
I
got that
love the Pacific.
Power Rangers.
You can't argue. You cannot tell me the Pacific Rim episode is not awesome.
The Power Rangers episode was fucking awesome.
You call it Power Rangers, I call it Pacific Rim. Because to me,
I know.
it
I
was more
will.
Pacific Rim to me than Power Rangers because it was straight up giant mechs
Did
versus
they
giant ones
combine? Did,
versus.
did they combine a load of them together?
Okay, shut up. It was Voltron.
Um, Fair enough. I'll go with that.
It was Voltron.
But no. Why wasn't one of the episodes we got a snippet from uh, Alien versus Avengers?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. But don't remind me of the best but most terrifying invention of Sinister in the history of the fucking
And
universe.
see,
Hey,
and
little
that's it.
human.
That's
Do
what
you
I'm
know what this
telling you.
gun fires? No.
Look,
You know what this is? It's a gun. Do you know what it fires? No,
this is the
no,
thing.
I don't.
That is the episode. The thing is that is the episode. You start off with the Watcher telling you the story of how, thanks to in this case, you put it down to what Scott Lang was doing.
Hmm.
Thanks to the teleportation stuff that Scott Lang was doing, they managed to find ways to transfer from one place to the other using the quantum realm. Unfortunately, they brought something back. And it would be Janet Van, whoever it is, with a face hugger. Things go fucking crazy. And
Hmm.
then you go through the story of fucking Sinister. You go to is everyone leaving us? They go to Mars and there's Sinister there. And then you get the face hugger gun. You
It's just
get the
fucking
army
terrifying
of.
and funny as hell. It's the way he says it though. It's just the way that comes. The entire panel is written as if he's so excited saying this. You know what this gun fires, human? No. What does it fire? Face huggers. What the fuck, Sinister? Why did you weaponize face huggers? Why would you
and,
weaponize?
and that way you could get the whole reveal of Miles Morales getting a face hug and something going wrong with that situation. You then get
The thing
the
is, if they were
you
gonna
then get
do that, right, it'd be someone else who would invent the facehugger gun. Let's be honest, because they would deliberately not want to introduce. I'll be honest with it. They would probably want to do it and center around MCU version of characters, if you get what I mean, rather than introduce like
remember by
characters
this
one off
yeah,
for that show.
but by this point,
Hmm.
Sinister's already been in X-Men '97.
What if
X-Men '97 came out before What If season 3.
did? But I was more on about yeah, it might have come out for that, but I'm on about yeah. To be fair, yeah, because Storm wasn't in it. What if until after that? I'm still sad we didn't get the Storm episode. We just got to show up in the
Yeah.
finale. I was kind of sad about that. I really wanted the Storm
I mean, right,
episode.
fair enough. I kind of see what you mean. You wouldn't you usually well, Miles Morales is an interesting one actually because they had already used Spider-Man,
They've
but
used
they
him.
used Peter Parker
They've used him like
Spider-Man.
multiple times now in animated things. It seems without
They oh
in little hints.
they have no uh, they have the rights to animate stuff. Um, but no, so I Miles Morales would be very different, I think. So
Yeah.
maybe they couldn't do that and the stuff with the symbiote. But if you
Well,
go
if
to
they
the
could
end
do
bit, there,
Miles, swap Miles with Peter.
yeah,
Swap him with Peter.
but
Have Peter have that, and then have the symbiote, and then we get the reveal of look, because we have the whole setup at the end of fucking. You know what annoys me the most? We have the setup at the end of what you call it, at Venom, at the end of Spider-Man, Brave New World, not Brave New World, Spider-Man, not No Way Home, Far From Home, the whole ending bit
no,
where um, From Home, well, the end of Venom 2 where we get Venom's in the MCU, and then the end of No Way Home of of the Venom going, what? There's a this and a this and a and then we get the little symbiote left on the bar, and then Venom 3 reveals, oh no, it was left on the bar in Venom's actual universe.
yeah.
And I'm like, Sony, you had the perfect opportunity here to work with Marvel and start the Venom saga in the MCU, and then let Marvel actually cast Tom Hardy again as Venom, because Tom Hardy was really good as Venom, and I will not dispute that. I think he'd be perfect as a villain version of Venom, as well as being the hero
Well,
version.
I would argue that I would argue that both instances of that happening could have happened at the same time. So that because if you actually watch the um the actual bartender in that scene, both scenes, looks different, even though it's the same guy.
He
Now,
does, and if
no,
you
it's because
notice
it's
in
been a few years.
the end credit scene of that film as well, where you see the bartender again come
Yeah,
out of a cave, he looks like the bartender in the MCU again.
yeah. So I would argue that actually there is, because of that, there is still a symbiote floating around in the MCU. We just saw them complete a loop within their own Sony universe
Oh yeah,
to say that in this film we're capturing symbiote bits. We're looking for them in particular because we're after something, and that's a great start off there from the last time we saw Venom. But I
hmm
would still argue, even though it doesn't matter now, we're not going to get that storyline. They're wrapping everything up in the next few years.
yeah.
We know this.
I just genuinely the thing that annoys me is because I would love to see because Tom Holland has played Spider-Man like at the start of his career, basically, and now he's finally at the end of No Way Home. He's become, you know, what we know in the comics as friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like that end bit of that film is him straight up having the costume, the actual Spider-Man costume finally. Like not the
Mhm.
Tony Starkified one. He has Spidey's costume, and it's beautiful. And we know that we're getting a Spider-Man 4. We already know we're getting a Spider-Man 4, and we know that he's the Spider-Man for Spider-Man 4, and we know that that's going to be basically his sort of thing. We have hints that someone is playing someone is playing a Gwen Stacy in this film. Apparently, we're going to get Gwen Stacy show up finally. But I kind of would want Felicia Hardy to show up, and then we can get that they can do the whole start the storyline of Black Cat, because I really want to see Black Cat and Peter, because that's a fun storyline. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna call the podcast here anyway today because we've gone over our normal time. We have gone for like 2.5 hours, Jax. We normally only go for 2 hours. Did you want to say goodbye, Jax? Jax has died. I'm going to say goodbye for him. Bye bye, Jax. Goodbye, Jax. Anyway, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time as normal for our last episode before Christmas, and then we will be on a break over Christmas as per after the next episode. The next podcast is on the 20. Oh no, sorry, we've got more podcasts than that. The next podcast, the last podcast for the year, will be on the 11th of December. So we have 2 podcasts left before the end of the year. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on the 27th, as per normal for the podcast. As normal, I will now be streaming on Sunday again. I was unable to stream last Sunday due to being sick, so I'll be back streaming. I'd say if you want to watch the VOD is on the YouTube channel for every single episode. So feel free to watch them on the YouTube channel as well. Like, subscribe. The link is in the channel description below. Au revoir.